It begins on a dark night. Look at this. You're not gonna find another girl like her in a million years.
It's all so magical. I've never fun. Sorry, ride that fast. Someday a boo. And to say, never done. I've never fun. Sorry, ride that fast. Someday a boo. Do you trust me? Just say to me, have my life wonderful time in my you should salam. Father and to say, just say to me, have my life wonderful Jasmine, you should salam. Father and to say, I'm going to free you, Janie. I ran away, and I am not going back. And I am not going back. You should. I ran away, and I am not going back.
Let's make some magic!
Where's this girl? I've never fun. That says someday a boo. It's not kind of my life out you. I've never fun. That says someday a boo. I ran away, and I am not going back. And I am not going back. I ran away, and I am not going back. And I am not going back. It's mine. It's also magical. What are you doing? Just play along. Husband, you're open. Your father, when did you last? When husband, Jasmine, your father. When husband, you're open. Your father, when did you last? When husband, Jasmine, your father. Just say to me, have my life wonderful time in my you should salam. Father and to say, just say to me, have my life wonderful time in my you should salam. Father and to say, never done, I've never fun. That fast someday and to say, never done, I've never fun. That fast someday and to say, a wondrous place for you and
Me! That's who!
Goodbye. Thank you. Goodbye.
And hello, chat. Welcome to another episode of Morning Nonsense. I hope everyone's doing fantastic, like I always do. I hope you're having a fantastic day so far. And if not, as I always want, I hope your day is at least a little bit better by the end of this stream. Now, today I have I've asked a few guests to join me. First, we have the first arrival. Welcome, Shiny. Welcome,
It's always a pleasure.
as always. Awesome. We have some nice little plan today. Mainly, is something that I think might be more enjoyable with more people, especially this little itinerary for today, because we're going to go over something that we covered a couple of days ago, or maybe a couple of episodes ago, maybe a week ago. I forgot. This all runs together. All this nonsense kind of runs together after a while. But we covered this nice little TV show that that was picked up by the Sci-Fi Channel and was canceled immediately. It's like they said, like they brought it on and said, okay, this will be great. It's going to be a great idea. It's going to be a fantastic show. Everyone's going to love it. No one loved it. It had the lowest ratings like almost in history. It was ridiculous. It was so right from they aired the first episode, and then it's like George Lucas after he watched The Last Jedi. People who ran the Sci-Fi Network said, "Oh, you made a mistake," and it was canceled. It was canceled with no fanfare. Okay, so hello everyone, and one thing I want to know, I wanted to mention here is that apparently someone had sent me, I guess, a super chat or something before the stream began, but I guess YouTube got rid of it or something. But they didn't get rid of the money, so that's how I know. That's the only way I know because the chat isn't here. I checked StreamYards, and so there's a mysterious amount of money in the chat revenue icon, and I have no idea what it is. So if anyone is if you're here, if you sent me a super chat or something, and if you're in the chat, just let me know so I can read it because I don't have the chat anymore, unfortunately. Yeah, I don't want to miss it. See, Mark in 3D. Hello, Mark in 3D. He's still in Ellie's creepy basement. It's not that creepy, right? Right, Shiny, or else.
Well, it's the 10th level of hell, so
yes, it's below freezing. Let's see. Demonized Sword, welcome to Demonized Sword. Good morning, Devil. Always an honor to be here. Fantastic. Well, good morning. Well, hello, Noble Commando. Good morning. I'm finished with my Doc Alpha comic. Oh, fantastic. Go ahead and send it to Dr. Alpha miraclechild at gmail.com and I'll collect it. Awesome. Let's see. Criminal Imagination. Hello, Criminal Imagination. Hey, lady. Well, hello, Criminal Imagination. Welcome to the chat. Alexar H. Lobo. Good to hear, my friend. Well, good to have you here, Alexar Lobo. I know you're not. You're talking to someone else. Let's see here, but good to have you in the chat nonetheless. Let's see here. The numbers. Now I'm on time with the stream. Fantastic. You just got done finishing your errands. Awesome. Always nice to get errands done. I guess to get something annoying out of the way, no matter what it is, it's always better. Whatever is not annoying. There's always things that are less annoying than errands. So errands are terrible. Errands are terrible to run. Spitfire, hello Spitfire. Welcome back to the stream, Spitfire. Aura Master DX. Hello, Aura Master DX. Let's see here. So hello everyone. Hello. Let's see here. Hopefully we have everyone here. Awesome. Just give her time to come in. People time to come in. People time to see that the stream is up and running because YouTube does not like this channel chat. It does not like us. They don't like us streaming. They don't like us putting up any sort of content. Because we're having too much fun. YouTube does not like fun. It's like fun to YouTube is like salt to a slug. It just kind of melts their eyes and ruins their day. Let's see. Hello there, Blue. Good morning, LD and Best Chat. Well, hello, Blue, and good morning, Best Chat. Obviously, always good morning to Best Chat. Always have to say good morning to Best Chat because you are Best Chat, obviously. That one server Tanya. Hello there. Well, hello, that one servative Tanya. Welcome, everyone. Let's see here. Okay. Burf, good morning, people. Good morning, Burf. Hello. And there's Semantic Dragon. Good morning, Semantic Dragon. And Zayukia. Awesome. Everyone seems to be coming in. And I think we'll have a very nice stream today. Mainly because we're going to have some interesting things to go over. Now, before we get into the comic, of course, I have some things prepared and the things up and ready to go. Let's see here. Hopefully I didn't... Demon of the Sword? That was me. Oh, with the super chat. Okay, so no worries. So go ahead and tell me what you said with the super chat, and you don't have the super chat again. Let's go ahead and tag me in the chat so I can see it with what you said, and I'll go ahead and read it. It's that's how the way I know someone said a super chat because the money's still in there, and I don't want to just leave that hanging. So go ahead and send it to me. Don't go ahead and say it in the chat. Don't super chat it again. Just say it to me in the chat, and I'll go ahead and read it. Just be sure to tag me so I can see it easier. Welcome, Zofrats. Hey, LD. Does here smell like Star Wars again since Chinese here? Maybe a little bit. I haven't not decided yet. It's a little bit. It's sci-fi. It's sci-fi. So maybe not directly Star Wars, but the main topic of today, the main target of today is a comic book that is technically so sci-fi that it was adopted by the Sci-Fi Channel. So it's sci-fi already. It's sci-fi, all right. Sushi Guy, hello chat. Shiny, LD, well, hello to the Sushi Guy. Welcome, welcome. Don't forget we have some nice custom emojis if you want to have fun with those too. That comes with the membership. Comes with the membership chat. Hell yeah, Mark in 3D. Let me get that up there. I forgot about that. Mark in 3D sent me an interesting redo of Abby from The Last of Us Part 2. Let me see if I can find it on my timeline. Because I retweeted it. 1 second. Oh, here we go. Found a chat. 1 second here. 1 second. Go ahead and share the screen. Here we go. Mark in 3D. This is the true Abby. This is real Abby. There we go. The truest redo of Abby, of course. If no one knows what that is, that's the tank from Left 4 Dead. So, Tank from Left 4 Dead, Abby, same body build, except when you're talking about the tank, it's just a tank. When you're talking about Abby, it's ma'am. It's ma'am, sir. Thank you for that. Thank you very much for that. Mark in 3D, awesome. Ben Z, good morning. Good morning, Ben Z. Welcome to the chat. Lucky Jinx, hi everyone. Well, hello, Lucky Jinx. Welcome. Let's see here. Andrew Cole, you should make a small video about how fantasy franchises can't be multi-generational because writers don't plan past the big bad. I'm not a big fantasy fan, but that seems to be a huge element of fantasy writing, where it's just a big bad, like big bad emperor, big bad Sauron thing, Dark Lord or whatever, and that's it. They defeat the bad guy, and then what? Another bad guy comes in. So let's see here.
Just a whole fucking line of the.
Yeah, this is okay. Next Dark Lord. Okay, we defeat this Dark Lord. What's the next Dark Lord coming in? Lord of the Rings literally had that. They had the first guy, and then they had like another guy. Market 3D is showing ban you for showing leaks. Yeah, the Abby we've seen so far is just a toned down version of the real Abby. The real Abby is just a tank with a golf club. Let's see here. The Demon of that Sword. I'm reshooting my Wizard Slayer reading due to a new software. Oh, fantastic! A minor setback. Also, I have an objection emote for you, but I'm not sure if you want it. Well, just go ahead and send it to me. I guess maybe email it to me at literaturedevil@protonmail.com. That email is actually it's more hectic, but I'll get it. I'll get it nonetheless. But awesome. Just good luck on that. Good luck on that. I can't wait to see it. Can't wait to check it out. Because I really liked your Wizard Slayer story. It was really good. Criminal Imagination, they wish it too. That can't be right. It's more attractive. Very nice. And hello, our next guest, Voice in the Radio. Welcome back, Voice in the Radio.
I'm back.
As Motorboy said, he might join us. Glib said he might join us, but we don't know. It's all up in the air right now. But at least you two are here, and that's awesome. That's awesome.
Getting out of hand now. There are two of us.
You can't get rid of me. I'm like a dry cough.
Fantastic. You're like a certain beer virus. Just can't get rid of you.
I will always be here.
Okay, let's see here.
Even if you kill him, he's just going to come back more powerful.
More powerful. He strike me down. I would come back more powerful than ever before. Okay, we're going to open up with something just to buy more time for this in case any of the others wanted to come in, and I think it still might be interesting. So I'll open up with this one.
Oh, when you think something's interesting, that means it's bad.
Yeah, usually. So let's see. Actually, this one is like probably legitimately interesting because it actually feeds into what we talk about all the time, and it actually is an example. But I suppose you are both familiar with Pokemon.
Yes.
No, I don't know nothing about Pokemon. Of course, I've just been living in a cave with a box of scraps.
Did you watch the show?
I watched a little bit of Pokemon, and I played a lot of it when I was younger on my DS.
Well, there was a show, and they had a character called Brock. So Brock in the first
Yeah,
game was
I
like
know.
the first the first gym leader.
Are we thinking of the meme that I'm thinking of right now?
Maybe, but we're actually going over the fact that Brock as a main character is eventually replaced by this horrible character known as Tracy, who was goes down in history as being one of the most blandest, uninteresting characters in the history of, I guess, anything, until Ray came out, obviously. But he was like the
Yes.
Ray before Ray came out. He wasn't really a Mary Sue. He was just really, really bland and boring. But the thing is, there was some interesting backstory about how they wrote in the character of Brock and how some of the producers, how the storyboard artists in Japan were kind of sensitive about this stuff, or at least not sensitive as personally speaking, but we're like, maybe we shouldn't do this. Maybe a Western audience might not take well to Brock, racially speaking, because he has slits for eyes, and they might think that's racist. And so they had a plan to write him out of the show, and they actually did write him out of the show and replace him with Tracy. And no one liked Tracy. I didn't like Tracy. My friends and I used to watch
Did they
it.
write him out of the show?
Yeah, they eventually wrote him out of the show.
I
because,
remember his time, and this is going way back to my childhood because I grew up the fan of Pokemon during the Sinnoh League, whatever the
yeah,
fourth
so-
one was.
yeah,
and that was the one where he parted ways with Ash and wasn't really a companion anymore. I think he came back and cameoed a couple of times in later stuff because people were like, "Hey man, Brock was awesome. Bring him back for a bit."
Yeah, everyone wanted Brock back. It's really peculiar what actually happened because it's the backstory of that. There's a reason why Brock left in the first place. And it wasn't because they wanted to change up characters. It was because they thought that Brock was a mistake.
Which one was Tracy again?
Exactly. But he was like had that t-shirt and like bland hair. It's really hard to describe Tracy because he was so utterly bland.
Did he didn't have green hair, did he?
I don't think so. He had black hair.
Oh,
But this goes over it because this is not just because of this writing cliches or whatever. This it feeds into what we think of all the time. With how people are sensitive to this sort of thing and how they try to be insensitive or try to be make characters that are less quote unquote offensive. And end up being like infinitely more offensive in the process. So here's like the process that took place during the era of Pokemon. So it's been going on for a while. And this is actually a pretty good example of what we actually are seeing today. But it's more malicious today than it was in yesteryear.
New Pokemon game coming out soon. Let's start off with a Pokemon question.
Okay then.
What is your favourite evolution?
Oh, Vaporeon. If you don't agree with that, you can fuck off. Come at me.
damn. I mean, the correct answer is
Rock
Umbreon.
Umbreon.
but
Yes,
there you
that
go.
character.
The correct answer is Umbreon, but we'll let it slide. It's fine.
Yeah, Umbreon was
Also-
cool.
Something that's just kind of annoying me about the green screen is that he hasn't masked off the corners. Like, make it a full green screen. This is something easy to do. You just get a mask and you just pop it over that, and it makes it invisible.
It means part of the charm. It's part of the aesthetic he's going for. But I think this is going to be educational to everyone, and we will see that people. This feeds right into one of those moments that they always complain about. One of these.
Course correction to appeal to big dumb fanboys.
Right, because the fanboys always complain about "Hey, this character's. We don't like this character anymore. Please bring back the old character." And they say the old character was offensive. The old character was racist or sexist or whatever, and we find the new character infinitely more offensive. So how they replaced Luke Skywalker, he was offensive because he was a man, and they replaced him with Rey, and they replaced Han and Leia, which were offensive because they're white. So they replaced Han and Leia with like Finn and Poe. So the thing is, they became much more offensive because they were written as minorities, but they were given no real personality, which is not really a good sign. It's not really a good message to come across. Let's see here. Azuyukia, I'm not. Him not masking off the corners is intentional. Cameraman bought new green screen. Carl said no. Put the old shitty one back up. Okay, so it is part of the charm. It's part of the aesthetic. Fantastic.
does have a last name. He's one of the most popular and enduring characters from the Pokemon series.
I learned something new watching this video. Brock has a last name. His last name is Harris or something, I guess.
Oh, really? Oh, okay.
I didn't know that. I thought his name was just Brock. Like he was like, kind of like Cher or Bono or something. I thought he was, or I was going to say Captain Hook, but that's two names. But he wrote by the movie Hook. He just called him Hook. Remove his title, then he has his one name. So I thought it was like that. I thought Brock was like kind of cool that way because he was gym leader.
Yeah.
However, the show kind of emasculated him. He was really awesome in the game. He didn't do much in the game. Like he just looked awesome in the game. And also his name was Brock, and he was a rock Pokemon trainer. It was awesome all the way around.
Brock the Rock.
Pretty much. And it kind of rhymed too, so it was just perfect all the way around. See, Mark in 3D, thank you for the 400 internet huffs. Mr. Popo is the best Pokemon. Oh wait, I think because Mr. Popo from Dragon Ball Z and Jinx from Pokemon, they look exactly the same, except like Mr. Popo looks like a male version of Jinx. It's kind of scary, and they would know when they over Jinx. Like, isn't they were scared? They were worried about Brock, but they weren't worried about Jinx. Like, I think you have more problems with Jinx, maybe. Sketch Therapy, welcome to the chat. Sketch Therapy, hail brethren, hail Sketch Therapy. Welcome. Let's see here.
Weirdly, though, the character was temporarily written out of the show when producers realised that maybe the character might come across as massively racist in the West.
First of all, let's just get this out there.
Okay.
Brock is awesome.
Brock is awesome.
Brock is amazing.
I love that character. He's my favourite one in the entire show because he's so pragmatic. Who else but Brock could turn a frying pan into a frying pan? It's such a good line.
It's the best line ever.
It's so good.
It's the fact that clearly there was someone who was doing the translation.
And they were like, yeah. They were rubbing their knees when they thought of that line. I'm going to fucking get this one. I'm going to get paid for writing this line.
Hey, I know. I'll use my trusty frying pan as a drying pan.
Why do the producers think that Brock...
I only think I only watched the one that had like
drawing,
like Diamond and Pearl. So I see that.
You never saw Brock as the character.
I saw there is Brock in that version of it. What the hell the TV show version was. I did see the one that had Dawn in it.
Yeah, that was
All right, that's the one that I ended up watching as a kid.
Everyone loved Brock. Brock was an amazing character. He was he was awesome until he got around women, and he kind of became, I don't know what the term we would use today is a simp. Like that's what he became. Instant simp. Otherwise, he was awesome. He was manly. He was masculine.
Any moment there was a Nurse Joy, or what was the police one called?
Officer Jenny. I guess as soon as either one of those people would pop
Why
up.
Why the fuck are there so many of those?
I don't actually know.
That sort of just became his thing. It was like, yeah, he likes women and he gets punched for it. That's his character.
Yeah, he was a really cool character. And then when women came around, he became Johnny Bravo all of a sudden.
And then he never fucking tries anything with the female companion that's always with them.
Well, I mean, there's a Japanese reason for that, and that's because that Misty was under-endowed. And that's a big thing in Japan. I've seen an anime where they always make fun of women with flat chests. Okay. So I think that was probably the reason. Like, oh, you're Misty. I mean, look at you. Obviously, Brock is not going to fall for you. I mean, look at Jenny and Joy. They obviously have larger talents than Misty does. So I think that's why. Because culturally speaking, I think it's what you see this all the time, and I see this in some. I see it in Goblin Slayer. Okay, it's always a thing in Goblin Slayer where they make fun of the fact that the elf has a flat chest and everything. They call her like an anvil and stuff. So it's just I think it's a thing over there. So obviously Brock wouldn't be into Misty. Also, that'd be really, really creepy. I think Brock is like an adult man. Well, Misty's like 11 or something. Spitfire, they had problems with Jinx. They just changed its skin from black to bisexual lighting. Okay, that's a good fix. That's a good fix. Okay, so let's see.
Ash was, Sorry.
Might be perceived as being racist.
Apparently he's playing Pokemon.
According to a storyboard editor for the first season called Masami.
1 second.
It just reminded me of one of the Pokemon songs for some reason. Like when you exploring in a new region.
Oh
it's
yeah.
Like, oh, it's like fucking amazing. Like it's the most amazing thing you've ever fucking seen.
Hidaka, when the show first started gaining traction in the West, producers started to worry that the character of Brock might be perceived as racist due to his eyes. Or lack thereof, I guess, because he doesn't really fucking have any, does he? Except for that one episode where he opens them and he doesn't fire hyper beams. Have you heard this theory?
What's the theory?
There's one episode of the Pokemon anime where it's real that Snorlax fires hyper beams out of its eyes.
Horn drill.
And there's a joke on the internet, that's why Snorlax never opens its eyes. And things. Is that why Brock never opens his eyes?
To be fair, that would have been awesome if that was an actual thing that happened in the Pokemon. Brock opened his eyes and just fired hyper beams out of them. Let's see here. Lucky Jinx, Jessie wasn't flat. Oh, no, she wasn't. But she was a bad guy. So I'm not really sure. Maybe he had to be a good guy for Brock to. I don't know. I don't remember exactly. Did Brock ever fall in love with any evil women besides Jessie? Because he never fell for Jessie, which was kind of, I guess, now you pointed out, is kind of peculiar. Sketch therapy. I care more that all the equipment are factory made. Okay. Then more than size, no fatties though. I'm more about distribution of what's there. Oh, fantastic. Awesome. Thank you for that. Benzie. Yeah, I like that part actually, like just like he taught boys to always keep trying just because one rejected you doesn't mean to quit the game. Yeah. Yeah, it doesn't mean you quit the game. And Brock got rejected a lot. He's like he got rejected 100% of the time, I think, until he actually left the group. And he left the group because he finally found a woman that would tolerate him or whatever. Demon with that sword, you sent it? Oh, fantastic! I'll take a look at it after the stream. Awesome, appreciate that. Let's see here. Let's see. Okay, let's keep going then.
If he did, he'd fire hyper beams out of them constantly.
So Brock is Cyclops.
Yeah, that's what he's doing. He's controlling his own power. Now I think about it, that's a weirdly specific trope in a lot of cartoons, isn't it? There's like a character who has like a part of their anatomy you just never see. Like the parents in Cow and Chicken, where they're just like, you only ever see their legs. And then in one episode it reveals they are just sentient walking legs, which is fucking brilliant.
Well, the most famous example is Kenny in South Park.
Oh yeah, well you never see his face. And
originally you're never supposed to see his face.
Yeah, and I like the joke that like Matt Stone and Trey Parker came up with that when they finally reveal what Kenny looks like in the South Park movie, which I think they censored in some of the trailers. That was like one of the draw points. Like you finally get to see Kenny without his trademark Parker. He just looks like an average kid.
Yeah,
that was awesome. They actually revealed Kenny in the movie, but I think he goes to hell or something, and he just looks like a random kid. Like he just looks normal. Let's see.
So normal.
Goodbye, you guys.
Looking back at Brock's face now in 2018 as an adult,
yeah,
I guess I can.
You can kind of see
where they were coming from.
Someone somewhere might have looked at that and gone, maybe just tone that down a little bit. And if you're someone out there who doesn't see why having a character with literal slants for eyes might be a bit racist, here's Father Ted explaining why that is the case.
I knew someone that actually happened to. They're making fun of Asians, and then turn around, some Asians are there. Nothing happened though. It was just kind of a funny thing that happened. Like there's some Asian people right there. You're making fun of Asians, right? Can you say that for later?
Well, my question is, why were those people just randomly staring through some random person's window?
I don't know, it's kind of creepy, isn't it? They're just kind of staring through a window.
Just like, hey.
Like a coincidence that he's making fun of Asian people, and they're just randomly staring through a window. Like it's a whole family. It's like a painting. It's weird. It's like a whole family of people just staring into the random person's window. Do they know these people? Or do they want to kill this priest or something? Probably do now, but before. It's a really good question.
For everyone else out there, before you start to roll your eyes at the idea of an overly sensitive executive censoring something before it even got complained about, remember that this is before Pokemon took off in the West, and the producers were very mindful of the fact not everything in the show would translate to a foreign audience.
There's quite a few examples of that, like the rice jelly donuts thing.
Yeah, that's one that confused a lot of people, where like, if you've not seen the Pokemon anime, at various points in it, Brock refers to what is very clearly not a donut as a jelly donut, because it's obviously... In the original anime, it's a Japanese rice cake, I believe. But
that one was
West, so they just call it a fucking donut.
Was infamous, if I remember correctly, because people still bring that up today. Where Brock brings out a bunch of rice balls, like Japanese rice balls, and he calls them jelly donuts.
Didn't they read? I just remember hearing that they censored some rice balls as like American subs. Like they're rolling down some kind of hill or something, and it's just an American subway or something.
Oh, fantastic! We have our next. Oh, never mind. Looks like he disconnected. Smudboy is here. Oh, here he is. Welcome, Smudboy. Welcome.
Hey guys, how's it going?
Glad to have you.
He tried to escape.
I wasn't escaping. I was watching some weird. Someone was promoting the She-Ra cartoon.
Oh, yeah.
I watched it.
Yeah.
Oh my god! I was like, dude, do you even know what you're talking about? Like all these pastel colors, everyone's gay, everyone's feminine.
Yeah, I saw what was that show was about from a mile away. I never touched the thing.
Did it have bisexual lighting?
Yes, I even in the previews you could see the bisexual lighting everywhere. It's and then I think they came out with I think they came out with what quote unquote news that they had a lesbian relationship in She-Ra. I was like, really? That's news?
Wow.
I thought there were
like that.
There.
Every single family unit is gay. Like and I'm like, okay, I don't care, but how did that happen? How is everyone bisexual or queer or have like rainbow? Like there's a unicorn that talks and flies. So it's a Pegasus unicorn with multicolored wings, and they want to destroy all hierarchies. I'm like, what the hell is this shit?
It's a woke version of She-Ra. It's just not She-Ra. It's just someone's weird interpretation of a fetish fantasy with a She-Ra on it, and they want to produce it to kids. It's always really disturbing. But yeah, I saw that. We call that the Marvel method. Well, I call it the Marvel method, where all the characters are gay.
And then they had like news because it was the last show out of 5 seasons. The last show had the first kiss or whatever between. It's like, dude, we've been having girls kissing each other since the 90s.
It's been a while.
It's not a big deal.
Did they try to palm off that this is the first ever gay female kiss in a children's cartoon again?
I don't know. I haven't been paying attention to the news of what's important in the gay community or cartoons. So
they did like the 100th or millionth first gay kiss in a cartoon series or something. I don't know.
But they treat it as if it's the first one ever.
It's always the first. It always be the first one. That way, it feels like they're breaking ground.
It means so much.
It's like Black Panther was the first black superhero movie, even though Blade exists.
Like it's not a big deal, but they talk about it. Oh, this is so important. It's like, not really. I don't think so. It's a children's show. Whoop-de-doo.
It's like putting your fetish fantasies in children's shows. It's really creepy.
Children think kissing anyone is gross right now anyway, so it doesn't matter.
They need to grow up understanding that there's more than one way to love someone. It's like, okay, and what else? Like what?
Everyone.
This is not a difficult concept. They don't need to see a whole show about it. It's kind of strange. I think they'd rather watch and see how heroic and how virtuous She-Ra is and her friends are and how her villains are not. I think that's kind of the basic story you want to tell.
That's what I was. If they were to remake She-Ra correctly, that's what I would have watched it for. You know, boys read like She-Ra. When they came out with She-Ra originally, boys were the predominant audience for She-Ra still. Like they like He-Man and they like She-Ra. Not so much girls, really. They even said that. They equated that phenomenon to the current Disney thing, because no one wants new Disney toys. No one wants the toys from the new Disney series. So when they came out with He-Man, a bunch of executives said, "Okay, let's these boys like He-Man, and boys can't have anything to themselves. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to try to make it towards girls. That's what they always do. If boys really like something, if it's something that boys really like predominantly, then they're going to have to take it away from the boys and give it to the girls. So they made She-Ra, and so they made She-Ra toys. And the thing is, She-Ra toys didn't sell, and because now it's no longer a boys thing. The brothers boys now saw their sisters coming out with She-Ra dolls and saying, now I have the power. Now, suddenly He-Man wasn't that cool anymore. So it's not only that She-Ra did not sell all that much, He-Man stopped selling. But when it did sell, it was predominantly actually boys who bought into the She-Ra thing, who watched the show actually. So didn't really work out too well. Echoes Kovacs, I miss the good old homoerotic He-Man comics. Those are the best. Those are the best. We need the homoeroticism is like the cornerstone of He-Man. You gotta have that in there.
One thing I kind of, it's kind of odd that they have all these like not trans, but they're just like half female, half male. Where's the real masculine homosexuals? Where's the real feminine homosexuals? Like really strong female, like just healthy looking, fantastic. I don't see that at all. They're all just sort of this weird amalgamation. You're like, this is not heroic. This is just blah.
They want the Steven Universe things. They want the Steven Universe stuff. The genderless crystal things. What they don't want is the actual like characters that seem like one gender or the other. And Bret Easton Ellis talked about this. That they fully embrace the whole what he calls the magical elf. Male homosexual, the ones that are just really, really overt in their sexuality, the ones that you always see in the Hollywood movie. And Bret Easton Ellis is homosexual, by the way, and he's annoyed by this too. And he goes, they embrace that version, but we're all the masculine homosexuals. Like they're not represented. The only one flavor of homosexual man is embraced by Hollywood, and it's the what he calls the magical elf. All right, Glib, welcome, Glib. Welcome to the stream.
Hello there. How was everything?
We were just talking about magical elves.
Yeah,
I love it.
The magical elf homosexual, as noted, as named by Bret Easton Ellis.
You're saying you're talking about me? Is that what you're doing? No.
That's exactly what we're talking about. It was like, speak of the magical elf, and he shall appear. And then Glib did appear.
Hello, everyone. Homosexuality.
Hello there.
Bisexualizing.
Yeah, I saw She-Ra. I saw they were remaking it, and when I saw that She-Ra looked like Hank Venture in a dress. I said, okay, I know what's going on now. I'm not going to watch the show one bit.
I love Venture Brothers.
Venture Brothers is great. She-Ra, Hank Venture in a dress is not really my style. It's not really a show I want to watch. That's what she was, and then everyone's saying, make her look more like a woman, and then you got called all sort of P to the E to the D to the O for saying that because apparently she's underage now or something. But you made her like a boy in a dress. How's that even better? Market 3D, thank you very much for the 400 huffs of internet gas. Smut is right. They need to bring back Gachi Muchi. Awesome. Well, whatever that is, they need to bring it back. Thank you very much, Market 3D. Let's see here. Critical Imagination, thank you much for the 5. Appreciate that. Kids can see their gay family members or neighbors and think, okay. Like you see the gay representation in the show, and then you're like, wait, that's really offensive because we have gay family members and they act nothing like that. They're just, believe it or not, it's in most cases, homosexual people are just like regular people. They just happen to have different interests, but not according to the Hollywood. As pointed out by Bret Easton Ellis.
If you look at like Hollywood representation of like gay people, and you look at actual gay people, like you're completely right. It's like gay people are just people who happen to have a different sexuality. But the way Hollywood seems to look at and portray gay people is that their only personality feature is that they're gay.
That's it. There's okay, what are we gonna make the character? He's just gay.
That's not exclusive to Hollywood, unfortunately. Fucking BBC with Bill.
It's funny because it's like it's one of those things where if you build it for the niche audience, you're just not going to get the big money. So you want to get the big money, so you make the big money characters gay or something like that. But if you make the main characters gay, that'll piss off the audience for the thing that you're already making. And so it creates this just mess of things. And meanwhile, I think all of us in the audience are like, I don't know why you guys are trying so hard.
Oh god, it's nauseating. The color palette is just constant pastel. Every single thing.
It's called bisexual lighting. That's what this is called.
Yeah,
it's
it is.
literally called that.
Literally called that. Yeah.
Yeah, we went over it in a previous episode. Shawnee was here. Shawnee had the pleasure of going through that. The Mary Sue wrote about it. It's like it's technically scientifically true. Technically, what they basically did was get like the color scheme of purple.
No, let them. What they did is they said, "Look at this graph." And that explained everything. Apparently, that's scientific.
What they did though was they basically went over color schemes, and they said that purple is always denotes unusual things like magic and stuff, and it's not really part of the spectrum. It's like an illusion. Purple's an illusion. That's what they said in the Mary Sue article. So essentially, what they did was claim purple for themselves. They claimed purple for the the NPCs and the SJWs and stuff like that. They claimed it. They claimed purple. And the thing is, when the way they described it, and they essentially described purple as the Mary Sue of colors, and of course they would pick the Mary Sue of colors to represent themselves. So that's why now it's called bisexual lighting. And
purple is now bisexual lighting,
and it sucks because purple was my favorite color for so long.
Not
like
is
that,
my
like,
favorite
British,
color,
but like that deep royal purple. I want that. The shells that they used to make for the Roman purple, that royal color.
Yeah, purple.
The Murex. I love that.
The ones that the emperors would wear. A sort of like capes or cloaks over one arm.
It used to represent royalty. Purple's amazing. It's amazing.
Yeah,
wealth. The reason why it used to represent wealth was because people hadn't figured out. It was very difficult to make purple dye. So that meant that if you had purple dye, it meant you were rich.
Yeah,
it's just a way of flexing.
Yeah. It's because you could only get it from a shell that was in specific areas, and you had to squeeze the Murex animal that was inside it, the little crustacean. It's like organs, basically. Its blood was purple. So I like how educated this panel is, by the way, and I don't get to blow smoke up your guys' booties enough, but it's great that you guys knew that.
Yeah, bisexual lighting.
Well, the only reason I know that is because I watched Red Dwarf, and that's not something I'm proud of.
Why do they have to call it bisexual lighting? Couldn't they have just called it purple lighting? Lighting that is purple.
Lighting.
They need it because it's theirs.
It's not purple lighting. It's what is it? Pink or purple with.
It's fuchsia, like specifically fuchsia. Like the color fuchsia is what they claimed. So if you ever see the color fuchsia in something, ever notice that it also happens to be SJW? So have you ever seen it fuchsia in She-Ra? Did you see the color fuchsia in She-Ra, Smud Boy?
I'm sorry, I was not listening. I was trying to reread some of the context of the anecdotes that people are writing on the comments. I was just like, I don't know where these people are from in the world. What was the question? I'm so sorry.
Have you ever seen the color fuchsia in She-Ra? Like the fuchsia public.
There is a color, but it's not as intense as fuchsia. It's like a fuchsia tone. It's light.
The color fuchsia is it's kind of like a warning sign that what you're going to see is going to be really, really woke. Everything is going to be adhering to these the far leftist NPC ideals. Like everything is going to be anti, I don't know, right wing or whatever it is. The color fuchsia is a symbol. It's called bisexual lighting.
Honestly, it's basically get the entire rainbow of color, put it into pastel, and then just randomly pick a color. And here's the character, and it's like, what is the point of having everything in a color scheme?
It's really creepy, isn't it? Because they're targeting this stuff towards kids, and they're forcing their own sexual ideas into these shows, and it's made to seem really round. It's all soft and cuddly, and it's all pastel and friendly, and it doesn't look it makes itself look as unthreatening as possible. So it's kind of like how those weirdos and vans trying to make themselves look as unthreatening as possible and offering free candy and stuff. To lure in victims, and it's kind of like the same vibe I get from these things. But I don't know, you some of you weren't here, Smudboy and Glib. I know you weren't here when we showed this, but you remember The Last of Us Part 2?
Oh,
remember Abby? It's real quick. Market 3D had the graced us with new leaks from
there's more.
Oh yeah, little picture. Check this out.
If there's so many leaks that this game, if it were a person, it would.
Oh my god, what is that?
See, the Abby we've seen is not the actual Abby. They marked it down. This is the real Abby. Okay?
Isn't that the tank from Left 4 Dead 2 or something?
Yes, it is. thank you, Market 3D, for showing us the real leaks. This is what actually Abby looks like in the game, and I know it looks like a man, but it's actually a ma'am.
I'm expecting Sony to strike this any minute now.
Exclusive to the stream chat is the first to see it. No one else is reporting on this, as far as I've seen. But this is what Abby really looks like.
Well, I hope this stream doesn't go
down.
The amount of people commenting on like the nuance, like trying to defend, like you say something not 100% accurate. They're like, well, Troy Baker was really talking about the leakers, not the critics of the leaks. It's like, if the leaks were good, he wouldn't have to say anything.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I know companies that have actually leaked things on purpose so that they can drum up people interested in the product. If the game was good, if the product was good, then the leaks would help them out. But it isn't. So they're not good. So
and then they're blaming the leakers. Well, they're spoiling everything. It's like, no one's forcing you to watch anything, darling. You don't have to watch the YouTube video. You don't have to read the blog post. You don't have to go on 4chan. You don't have to do anything. No one's spoiling. You're the one who's actively seeking out this information. We're just talking about it.
The thing is, strange. When it comes to leaks, we kind of, as you said, we know for a fact that companies do leak their own shit because I think, well, at least that's what I theorized, that Disney leaked things like the Boba Fett movie and the Solo movie and the Obi-Wan movie to try and see what people's reactions would be before they actually started doing anything with them. And that's how we ended up getting Solo. But the Boba Fett movie got turned into The Mandalorian, and the Obi-Wan film got turned into the Obi-Wan series we're hopefully getting still.
That's a good strategy, actually, just to leak things and see how people interact with it and how they react to it. It's a really good strategy anyway. Like, there's a reason why some people, it's a reason why back in the day they used to release demos for games. Before we just
demo?
Leak. Yeah.
That was like 400 years ago.
Yeah, 400 years ago. They started to stop doing that for some reason, but they used to sell demos in places, and you could just check out the game before you bought it, and people loved that. And you get to see if it was good, people would buy it. If it wasn't, people wouldn't buy it. I think that's why they stopped in the first place. Because we want to put less effort in things, so we need to stop giving them the opportunity to play this stuff before they buy it. When you get their money first, and then they can argue about the minutia of getting their money back from the store. But we get our money in the first place.
They used to give away demo discs and compilations when you used to get GamePro and stuff. I remember that used to be a reason to buy the magazines, is because you used to have all those PlayStation 2 discs.
I actually got one of those compilations before. It's pretty fun, and I like those things because when they were free and you get a free demo, it's really interesting, and you get to see new games, you get to see new stuff. So it's actually a good strategy to allow people to view things, get a preview of things before they buy it. In fact, there's a common I think there's a common practice these days by independent publishers to release maybe chapter 1 of something, or in fact it's something that they do on Amazon where you can view the first few pages of a book before you buy it, just to see if you like the opening or not. So it's the same thing, same strategy. So again, if these leaks are good, there would be no problem, but they're not good.
It sounds as if, though, that's kind of like a democratic way of building anything, which is a horrible process. It's like, hey, here's some concept sketches and some first few pages of our draft. You're like, oh, let's get some voting going, guys. What do you think? It's like, wait a second, are you building by committee now? Like, what's going on? So probably not the best idea from scratch. I'd like to see that work, though. I'd love to see just the community just say, okay, let's make a story, and then let's make a game. Let's get some artists. Let's get some musicians. Like, that would be this constant process.
That would be an interesting thing to try out, actually. I want to see the result of that. Let's see. Outlet Fredo's Bookshelf. Thank you much for the 2. Morning Smudcast Nonsense. Nice. Cheers, my dudes. We haven't started yet. This is our warm up. This is our palette. This is to prepare us for what we're going to dive into. Just this whole Brock thing, because this whole Brock situation is it's old, ancient, but it actually feeds into what we talk about on constantly, and how the companies are trying to constantly make things quote unquote less offensive and end up making things more offensive. Like I mentioned earlier, I replaced Luke with Ray because Luke is offensive because he's a white man, and they replaced him with Ray, so it's less offensive, and they replaced Han and Leia with Pin
Finn and Foe.
Finn and Foe. I like to see that Poe and Finn. That's their lover's name because they wanted to be lovers. So Pin, Foe. You know how there's Raylo, so there's Pin now, and Foe. That's their lover's name. But they replaced Han and Leia with Finn and Poe because Han and Leia are offensive because they're white. Finn and Poe, not offensive. But then they became offensive because they didn't give them personalities. They just made them like weird stereotypes. So this actually happened a long time ago with Brock, and it all happened behind the scenes. So this is actually exploring what actually happened. So if you don't know, Glib and Smudboy, before you came in, there was we went over the fact that in the old show Pokemon, the first few seasons or whatever, they had this character Brock on as the main character, not the main character, but a main character, and they replaced him during the course of the show because one of the Japanese guys said, "Oh, the person was going to try to sell us to the West." A Japanese storyboard artist said, "Oh, we're going to try to sell this to the West. No, they're all about racism over there. Everything's racist over there. So it might be a good idea to replace Brock over the course of the show." So that's what they plan to do. And they replaced Brock with Tracy later on.
It would help if Brock had some eyeballs that we can see into his soul, perhaps. That would help.
They thought it was going to be racist because he has, instead of eyes, he has slits.
Do you know, like, they could just redraw Brock for like Western audience? It's not some like too far out of the realm of imagination, as things have been redrawn for Western audiences.
Probably might be creepy with eyes. I don't know.
The other weird thing to consider is that they've drawn the character with slanted eyes, but the fucking show creators are Japanese, so.
With Japanese, when they do it in anime, when they give a character when they give characters slanted eyes like that, it's just to indicate usually that they're Chinese, because a Japanese in their anime, they're really racist against the Chinese for some reason. They do not like Chinese people. I don't know why.
There is a slight trope in manga, I noticed, as well as anime, where you have the character who's either the wise man or the esteemed sage, and he's never emotional. So his eyes are always one way. He never really gets excited. So I've seen that pattern a lot. I don't know if that's specific to Brock, because Brock is also an experienced fellow, but he's not a hero. He's not a main.
He's wise. Like Brock is wise. He's pretty masculine. He's pretty he's a kind of a manly guy, until he gets around women, and then he becomes Johnny Bravo. He comes in all sense.
Really,
he's beaten up. That's it. So he's really cool. Otherwise, everyone liked him, and it was kind of funny when he lost his mind around women, because it was not Brock. Brock normally is this confident guy who's really good at things. He's kind of like the foil to Ash, who's kind of like a fool. He's kind of a moron. And
didn't he use oh look, here's a water type, I'll throw my electric type at it?
Yeah, he's like he's a water type. I guess I better pump up my Pikachu until he's strong enough to beat a water type. Like Ash, use different Pokemon. Pikachu is not good for everything.
Treating like a genius or something for picking a water type against. I was picking electric type against a water type. That's supposed to be used again.
He's just sat there on the sideline and say, "So this was Ash's plan all along." Proceeds to give 3 minutes worth of explanation to the audience who might not be following.
I see that happen a lot in anime, though. There's someone on the sidelines explaining to the audience exactly what's going on. I saw that in Rurouni Kenshin also. Like, what's he doing? And some other guy will explain exactly what Kenshin is doing or something. I can see that. Like, I can see what's happening. I'm watching a show. It's showing what's happening. You don't have to explain this to me. Sometimes,
normally it's the female main character goes, "Wow, Ash won," and Brock will go, "Yes, but the battle isn't over yet."
Yeah, Brock is the guy who knows it. He's a smart guy. He's a smart guy. He's the guy you turn to know things, because he's awesome. Brock was awesome.
Oh no!
These donuts are great. Jelly-filled are my favorite. Nothing beats a jelly-filled donut.
That one was
I remember being a kid, that's the weirdest looking donut I've ever seen. I was like,
when I saw that when I was watching as a kid, I just thought those were Japanese donuts. I just thought that's what donuts look like in Japan.
Well, it's basically dessert onigiri. So technically it is a donut just made out of rice and filled with jam. So yeah.
Did you know? Interesting fact that even though people colloquially know Asian populations as being very thin. They actually have a high amount of diabetes because they eat a lot of rice, because rice converts into sugar. It's a simple carbohydrate.
They have a lot of diabetes over there?
Yeah, isn't that interesting?
It's interesting.
So it makes sense that onigiri and stuff like that would be sort of I know it's more umami and it's not kind of a savory treat, but it makes sense. What I was always curious about, and I think this is probably going to be funny, is that I never could figure out what race Brock was. I don't know what he's
Brazilian.
You know?
I never actually thought about it before. Like I said, oh, there's Brock. This is how he looks.
Brock just has slash eyes, and I just thought that was like an anime. Like just like a trope, you know what I mean? Like there's some characters that just have weird eyes in anime, and it's not explained. Either it's cutesy or they don't have like the big whites or something like that. I just
same here. I thought it was like this is an anime thing. I said, it's weird. You know? Anime's weird. It's just weird things in there, so I just accepted it as a weird thing in anime.
What's funny to me is that I actually have a Filipino friend that has very like I don't know how to describe it, but like shit like the top part of his eye structurally and then the bottom part, they're very close together, so you get that kind of almost Brock effect. So I just applied that. I was like, well, I guess that's what they're referencing. Like, I don't know. I love that my like questioning or something of just like I don't know. I'm not having an answer is somehow a sign that I'm like a bigot or a phobia or something like that these days. Like I'm just I don't even know if I want an answer, but if somebody gave me an answer, I'd be like, okay. Because it's not part of the character that I'm attached to. The part of Brock that's so funny is his womanizing failures and how it's always funny that he's in love with the sisters or whatever, and there's like a million of them, and so he's like always I don't know.
There's Joy now versus Jenny and all that stuff.
I just missed that.
Yeah, but
we should go over that. It's really funny.
The man invented the drying pan.
Yeah, I could turn my frying pan into a drying pan. The one service of Tanya. Yeah. The one service of Tanya. The pot of greed. What does it do? Have you seen the Yu-Gi-Oh? Now that the card playing show?
Yeah.
Yes, I have.
The pot of greed is a card you play to draw 2 cards, and they always explain it. Every single time they always explain it. We get it already. We know what it does. So I play my pot of greed. Well, this allows me to draw 2 additional cards. Every single time they explain it. Every single time.
But they just explain every single card in that.
Almost, but. I mean, they explain a lot of the cards that are more complex, but they don't. But they still explain the pot of greed, and I think by the time you get to like the 4th season or whatever, you know what it does. Like,
I remember when cards. I remember when Yu-Gi-Oh used to be the fucking shit in like school.
Yeah, it was Pokemon, and then became Yu-Gi-Oh after a while. It was really funny because
after that,
the guy who voices Kaiba is the guy who voices Brock. They're 2 totally different characters. It's really funny. I thought it was really funny.
Interestingly enough, at the time when Pokemon was taking off, Digimon was actually more important or bigger than Pokemon, but Pokemon just has a broader appeal to the rest of the world. So the stuff in Digimon, the stuff they did, the storytelling, the characters, the evolutions or what have you, was a lot more sophisticated, whereas Pokemon is just, you have a bunch of monsters and they're based off this type, whereas Digimons were like fusing together and evolving and changing, and then they sort of took that idea and became more of a game thing, and then now we know it. So
Digimon was really cool. I really like Digimon also. I used to get a lot of those little toys, those little devices you carry around. I think that's how they got introduced to us.
Does anyone remember Bakugan? I remember that being a thing for a while.
I remember that a little bit. It was like
the little monsters. You roll them onto like this magnetic card, and they spring out. And they had this whole TV show and everything.
Yeah, I remember that show a little bit. I never got into it though. I never watched it. Never did anything with it. It's like, okay, Bakugan's a thing.
I barely remember it.
I do remember Digimon though. That one I do remember, and it was pretty interesting.
Well, I just used to like to play with these little things, and you would have this magnet on the card. So and the magnet on the bottom would unleash the Bakugan. So I would just fold it up, and then I'd put it on the card, and it would spring out, and then I'd fold it back in and put it on the thing again.
And see, the Direct Duelist, Yu-Gi-Oh! Barely explain any of its cards. Fun fact, they don't really read out the full effects and replace it with stupid banter to dodge marketing laws. I know what they do also do is they explain the cards so that it can be different in the show and they can bend to the rules or bend to what the plot needs at the moment.
I like how they make Yu-Gi-Oh! This extreme heroic figure who's like bets everything every time whenever he's in a battle. It's like I have to give up my card that my grandfather gave me from 20 years ago. It's like, what, dude, you don't have to do that. Just fight him normally. It's like, no. I have to risk my life and all my children. It's like, dude, it's just a game. Like, calm down. Like, it's extremely serious to Yu-Gi-Oh! That he's so high end as right off the bat. Like, it's so important to him.
I just remember the Yu-Gi-Oh! I'm thinking of is not the same one that you're thinking of because I grew up with. There was another one that was in a school, and there was another one that was like with bikes.
Oh yeah, those are the ones no one talks about these days.
Yeah, I remember growing up with those. I look back at it now and I think, what the fuck is this shit?
Yeah, the one where he's in the school and stuff. That's such a ridiculous premise. So Kaiba makes a school dedicated to teaching kids how to duel. Imagine if they made a school where they dedicated everything, all facets to it, in its very serious way, into teaching people how to play poker or something. It doesn't make sense.
There was the really weird plot of like the Rainbow Dragon or whatever the fuck that was about, and then there was another dimension, or the school got fucking absorbed, or something happened. I don't know for the fuck. It's weird.
All right, so maybe not this one. Let's see here. Nathan Break, thank you very much for the fine. Appreciate that. Draw your last pathetic card, Dev, so I can end the stream already. My stream has no pathetic cards.
I have a question though. Does anyone remember Dinosaur King?
No.
It's pretty much just it is 1-for-1 Pokemon, but with dinosaurs, and they had to go around collecting these cards, and like the bad guys would always come in and try and steal the cards, and they'd just collect dinosaurs and put them against each other. It was a Pokemon with dinosaurs.
I don't remember that at all. That sounds amazing. Well, I think Smut Boy, this is what you're talking about? Is this what you're talking about in Yu-Gi-Oh! This little thing right here? Let me see if I got the volume all the way up. There we go.
Yugi, if you want your precious card back, you'll have to duel me. And if you lose, I get your soul.
I accept your challenge. It's time to duel.
Oh, wait, did he say he gets his soul? Yeah, that's right. What don't do that, Why would you do that?
My grandfather gave me that card, Joey. It's precious to me. I just bought you a picture pack at Target one time. That card isn't special or anything.
You can buy a single of that card for like 50 cents on Amazon.
Don't worry. I believe in the heart of the cards. I won't lose.
And every time you lose life points, 50 buzzsaws will come closer and closer, and the loser will be hacked into pieces!
What the f***?
Are you crazy? What is this saw shit?
You're on.
And as time passes, your platform will be lowered into a pit of lava. The clock is ticking, Yugi.
I wouldn't have it any other way.
Wait, are you getting off on the danger of the situation?
No.
Maybe.
Oh, you.
Are you serious? Don't kink shame me!
Damn.
That's a little bit something about we're talking about there, Smut Boy.
That was pretty accurate. Yeah. It's so extreme. It's like, dude, can you chill out for like 2 seconds? You're playing a card game, and there's this giant arena that pops up out of nowhere. Like, okay, this is silly.
They actually did that. Actually, the buzzsaw thing is actually something that happened in the show. There was an episode with a rare hunter named Arcana, and every time they lose life points, this buzzsaw would come in and get closer to cutting off their legs.
Of course, why not?
Well, in the American version, like in 4Kids or whatever, they changed it to this buzzsaw will hit you and send you to the Shadow Realm. I was like, how does that work? But in the actuality, how that actually played out, it was a buzzsaw that was supposed to come in and cut off your legs if you lose all your life points. And see, Alex Halo, thank you much for the 5. Appreciate that. They changed GX story a lot and then didn't want to finish it at all in the translation. They also decided not to finish the Motorcycle one either. That was a Yu-Gi-Oh! 5D or something like that.
Yeah.
See, DJ and Voices. Thank you much for the 10.
I don't know why the fuck they were on bikes. I just remember they were on bikes and they were going around some kind of track for some reason.
Well, Glib, you got this one. Why would they add in bikes to Yu-Gi-Oh?
Why would they add in? I don't know a lot of things about these.
Oh, you don't have to know.
Series.
It's because it's cool, right?
Obviously, it's cool, but it's like
It makes no fucking sense.
It makes no sense. They do this with all the
That's how the
Japanese
Force
anime
works.
that go on for too long.
The Force kind of runs on the fuel. Like, if is it cool? Yes, then okay, then it works, I guess. It wouldn't be cool, Anakin. And see,
it'd be very cool.
We could have this really calm game where we sit down and play with our cards, or we could go at 50 miles an hour on bikes.
For some reason, I have no idea why.
Because it's like it's selling a card game. There's only so much you can do with selling the card game.
I read about the motorcycle in that instance. Like, give me the motorcycle that can shoot out holograms. It sounds awesome. And I say, DJ M Voices, which 10, Yu-Gi-Oh! I play this card and I win. I knew you would play that, so now I play this and I win. Haha! You fell into my trap. Now I play this card and I win. No, I win. No, I win. You activate this card.
Everybody acts so surprised, and they're all like, "Oh my god, he could never win. The probability is impossible."
Oh, he could win. He just has to pull the card.
Commercial break.
Like the droid from Clone Wars, like it's 5 million to 1 that I will win. Ha 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 ha.
It's same energy there. Yeah, exactly. Same exact energy.
I love that the dude was like, I believe in the heart of the cards, because it's so. It's just numbers. It's like but the power of this 2,500 point attack will be more powerful if I believe in it. I just have to believe.
Now, to me, the real star of the show was Kaiba. Kaiba was the real awesome guy, because he might not have been the best duelist in the world, but he was the second best duelist. Also, he was like a high schooler who ran a successful multi-billion-dollar company. He was basically Batman.
So you're saying he's Vegeta? He's basically like the secondary character that can never be as good. Or what's the other one? Sasuke or Genos? I think it's like a shonen thing.
I think Vegeta is actually an accurate comparison, because Vegeta is second strongest only to Goku, but Vegeta is more competent in other facets of his life. Like he's really good with his wife. He has I wouldn't say he had a good relationship with his son, but at least he has a relationship with his son. Goku really doesn't have a relationship with his son.
You played my trap card, Kakarot.
I mean, Vegeta is really he has it together in his life. Goku is just not really. So Yugi, like Yugi is also he's like the best duelist in the world, but every other facet of his life is terrible.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, half the time he's dead, so it's kind of like
yeah, Goku. Like half the time he is dead. Yeah, he's like
at least he's not Krillin, who's just like, all right, I'm gonna throw a Destructo Disc and die. That's all he can do.
Believe it or not, I really like Krillin. I really enjoy the character of Krillin. He's like my favorite.
my favorite is Yamcha, because he's just useless. He's like useful for like 5 minutes, and he's like, I'm human. I'm not cool enough. I mean, it's too bad. He's the one that needs a motorcycle. That would make him as powerful.
Krillin is also useless, but he's not useless. Like he's really awesome. Like if you took away all the special aliens and stuff, Yamcha would still be pathetic. But if you're just counting humans, Krillin would be like the strongest human on Earth.
I really miss that. Like when they were relevant, that's when the power levels were low enough for the spectacle to like scale properly, and then eventually it just got way too much. And that's what I feel like happens to every shonen. It's like you hit a point where the characters are just so powerful. It's like playing on a 100% complete game, and it's you're like, what am I gonna do now?
Yeah, that's the exact reason why I enjoy Dragon Ball. Dragon Ball is my favorite series. The one that became Dragon Ball Z, the one that where Goku was a kid and all that stuff.
The what is it? The Journey of the West?
Yeah, it was basically the Journey to the West. But different. It was just way more anime.
Well, yeah, I mean,
that's still my favorite series, because everything was like lower level, and it wasn't so huge. Like it wasn't like you could sneeze and destroy a planet or something.
Exactly. Yeah. And you got Master Roshi going around and looking at little women. Oh,
and Master Roshi was awesome. So he was still relevant. So when he went to his muscle Roshi mode, he could still be stuff.
And he had the sunglasses on and that's great. I love that's why I like anime, is that creativity, and it's so I just love that it doesn't have any Western like white guilt. You know what I mean? It's just like let's have fun. Come on, guys.
Let's have fun with this. And it's awesome because you just can't have things go on for too long. And this Dragon Ball was fine. It was fine how it was. A lot of arcs and a lot of interesting characters. It's very interesting stuff. Very interesting stuff. And you had Yajirobe. Yajirobe was really cool in that show.
Yeah, I love that. I love the whole Capsule Corps thing. That whole arc of the Dragon Ball Z starting up was really fun. And I've said it so many times. Like after like the Frieza Namek sequence, I kind of bail out.
Right. I think Frieza should have ended. I think the Frieza was supposed to end it, and then it's like it was too popular to let die, so they just kept going and going and going.
I wish that people could just end their stories and be like, "Yeah, we're good enough to make a new thing. Let's do it." Because I hate that we just keep going.
They did that with Avatar: The Last Airbender. Like it was immensely popular, and then they kind of ended it when the story needed to end after 3 seasons. It was like a beginning, a middle, and end. And that's where they went with that, and it was fantastic. People wanted more. See, DJM voices.
Careful what you wish for.
Yeah, and careful what you wish for, because then we got Legend of Korra. but DJM voices. I know I've read the super chat already, but we'll let you know that we are planning something for Friday. I think. Hopefully, if it works out well enough, then we might have a tropes versus orcs kind of stream on Friday.
Oh yeah, I got to do that.
DJM voices the guy who came up with that name, orcs versus tropes versus orcs.
What are we going to do for that? I'm still curious about that.
So currently I'm planning to discuss it tomorrow. We'll just see
great.
what we're actually going to do. If it's going to be a parody, I don't know. It's
right.
It's going to be fun either way. It's gonna be fun
I'm dedicated to this idea though, because I have just a deep-seated bigotry and hatred towards orcs. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah. I mean, come on. Orcs with the 20% of the population, but they commit 90% of village raids. I mean, come on. What is that?
Yeah, I mean, come on. They're the corrupted souls of men. I mean, it doesn't get more obvious than that.
Yeah, exactly.
Next thing you know, it's going to be fucking elves or Asians or something.
Elves are white people. Elves are white people.
Oh, it's because they're different and they're from like somewhere else and they're fucking tall and skinny and they'll come up with something.
Yeah. That's a really good super chat, by the way.
Vicky, thank you for 2. Fans want Zuko's story as a show, not a book. Exactly. I want Zuko's story as a show.
What happened to all that? What happened to Where Is My Mother? What happened to that?
It became a comic book.
Fuck me. That sucks. I don't want to read a comic. I already did that with Buffy. It didn't go well, right?
Yeah, it's not going to go very well. I mean, I didn't read it because it was a comic and not a show, so it's probably going to be horrible in comparison to the show. And I didn't really want to see the result of that personally. But yeah, it's pretty good. Pretty good. Thank you very much for that. Awesome.
It's almost like it's good to leave something a mystery because you don't want to know the answer.
See, Demon of the Sword. Akira Toriyama has publicly said that Dragon Ball was meant to end after the Frieza saga. It's obvious because the Android saga incorporates time travel. Yeah, that's where he's going off the rails because time travel. Next up, time travel. Okay, you ran out of ideas.
There needs to be a story about someone who has to stop the universe from it's like an isekai or something where the story's writer is going to write all these bad things that are going to happen to the characters, so the character has to go out and defeat the author in their world or something like that and rewrite what the history is going to be. That'd be interesting.
It's kind of like that scene in Monty Python and the Holy Grail where the animator died of a heart attack, so they could get away.
Yeah, or in the end of Blazing Saddles when the whole movie falls apart and they're just spill out into the streets and then they have to resolve the plot in the real world.
All right, we'll go ahead and summarize this video real quick because basically what happened with Brock is that they thought it was going to be offensive to the Western audiences, and so they had in place a get out of jail free card, so to speak, and they placed him with Tracy, which I think we go ahead and skip to Tracy. We got to see what he looks like. Here he is. It was this guy. That guy over there on the right, that's Tracy. They replaced Brock, this awesome guy, with Tracy, who was just like a soy boy before soy boys were a thing. He was a photographer. But Brock was like a breeder, a literal Pokemon breeder, and a rock Pokemon trainer, and a gym leader. Tracy was a traveling photographer. And that was it. We replaced this awesome masculine man, awesome guy who was Brock, who knew everything what to do. He could cook, he could clean, he could do everything that you needed a guy to do. He was a royal smart guy. And then you replace him with Tracy, who was the blandest guy you would ever meet until Ray came about.
Brock is also a perfect character for the series because he's his name is literally Brock, which has the word rock in it. He's a rock type trainer. And then he's also the foundational rock of the group, even though he's swayed by women. That's his kind of flaw. He's still the solid member because Misty's always the one that's going to get upset and freak out. and then
Yeah.
Ash is always the one that's going to get emotional and be like, I can't do it, and then Pikachu hugs him, and then everything's okay.
Because Ash is an anime protagonist, which almost means that he has to be dumb, like really, really dumb. It's usually the secondary character that has to be the smart guy, be the brains of the outfit.
Yeah, you gotta have the character that's like the super smart character in an anime that has like the glasses below his face, and then he like pulls them up and there's a shine. And he speaks in a really calm voice. He's like, "Yeah, I think that what we need to do is this thing, and then I'm gonna go back to reading my thing and ignoring you."
It's kind of like why in the 5-man band you have the hero, the lancer, and then there's a smart guy. So the hero is not supposed to be the smart guy. There's usually a dedicated smart guy. And sometimes the hero can be smart, but like there's usually the 5-man band version. There's a smart guy in there because the hero is not supposed to be smart.
I just remembered that there's the member of the posse that's the comedic relief has to be the goofy male that has like the silly voice and is an engineer or something. He's like, oh guys, wait up for me. That character.
Basically, what happened with Brock is that they thought he was going to be offensive, so they brought him on the show, presented to Tracy. And the thing is, they had zero complaints about Brock in the West. No complaints about Brock. I thought he was going to be offensive. I thought people were going to consider him racist, but they ended up having no complaints about Brock whatsoever. Tracy, on the other hand, because he had to replace Brock, got many complaints. And so what the video says is that essentially they got infinitely more complaints about Tracy, the bland, milk toast, one of the milk character that they placed Brock with, trying to be non-offensive. The non-offensive character got infinitely more complaints than the quote-unquote offensive character. Now, where have you heard that sort of situation before?
That just sounds random to me.
So no one complained about Luke Skywalker and then they replaced him with a less offensive character with Rey, and then know how that turned out.
For the rest of my life now, just the name Trace or Tracy is gonna fucking give me PTSD flashback to that really shitty Clone Wars arc that came out in the 7th season. Boys, come on about. You'll also know because it's one of the girls with the fucking hair.
Oh, okay.
So every time I hear fucking Trace, I just think, oh my god, no, not back there again.
The shaved side of the head characters. Okay, I understand now.
You got to read the super chat because I have something to say to
Matthew J. Nimnall for everything you want to. Appreciate that. We just going to ignore the pic behind Tracy Aldi.
I feel like.
You mean James?
I feel like all of the pictures are weird. Like, what's the story of Oak pointing a gun at Ash's head? It looks like a big gun. And then obviously Jinx being the actual like what are those called?
The original Jinx. I guess they since have replaced Jinx with like purple skin or something.
Yeah, because it's so clearly like what's the word for that though? There's a specific word for the like gollywog or something like that. Some racial stereotypical portrayal of like a black baby or something from the early 1900s. That's what Jinx looks like.
You see this all the time in anime though. You see Busa Popo, like the same
Oh
thing.
god. They just find it charming. I don't know what it is. I don't know why that's like a Japanese thing from that era, but it's just like, oh, look at the funny man.
But it's not racism is not really a thing over there. Like at least it's not really something they consider over there, which is why they had to like, okay, we're sending this to the West. They're really all about race over there. So Brock is going to be offensive, maybe.
Well, if you look at it from an animation perspective, it's really fucking easy.
See, Alex Halo, thank you much for the 5. Fun fact: the reason is trying to get a girl so his family would finally have a mother, and Misty parents abandon her and her sisters. Oh yeah, that's right. Because Brock was he was like the father of his brothers and sisters. Like he played the father role.
I remember that. Now I forgot about that.
And then his dad came back, and then he's like, you think they're gonna have this emotional like reunion, and Brock is gonna be angry with him and saying, just telling him all his feelings, have a big dramatic moment, and Brock is like, okay, awesome, Dad. Here's this stuff and this stuff, and remember to keep this in mind. He's like telling him all how to take care of his brothers and sisters, and his dad's like, whoa, hold on a minute, son, because his dad's like this wandering hipster guy, and his dad tells Ash how to defeat Brock's Pokemon. Like, what a jerk! But then he goes, okay, son, I'll take care of the kid. I'll take care of my kids for you, as a favor to you. I'll take care of my own children. A fantastic dad. So Brock better not be he better not be another portrayal of a black guy, because that'd be horrible messaging. But that's essentially what happened. So Brock he wanted a mother, I guess. I think he wanted to find someone for the kids to have a mother or something. I forgot. But he took care of his own brothers and sisters. He was the father, quote unquote, for many, many years, until his dad actually did come back. I forgot why his dad stayed away. The DJM voices, anyone should find. Appreciate that. Ash was the pre-evolved form of Joey from Yu-Gi-Oh. Oh no, I'm losing. Oh yeah, my friends believe in me. It's like the last time I had this problem. Like, oh yeah, that happens all the time with Joey. Like he can win as long as he still loses to Yugi. Yugi and Kaiba could win as long as he still loses to Yugi. That's the formula.
Yeah, and it's frustrating that these things operate like that. I really would like to see a shonen that was more like real. Like if you look at fighters in the MMA or the UFC or whatever, they'll knock each other out and then they'll come back and then there'll be new plot lines. I think it's because the main character is so tied up with being the hero and master of everything that they can't break away from that. But are there any shonen type manga or anything that like change protagonists? Like maybe this week the protagonist is this guy and then whoever wins is next week is the protagonist? Because I'd love to see that.
I don't know. Smut Boy, do you know of manga?
Well, there's plenty of manga where you have ensemble casts, so they focus on a secondary character. But it's mostly protagonist driven. So if you're talking about maybe sports anime or manga, there's some tennis ones, there's some basketball ones, but even those, like, because they treat the cast as just the cast. There's no individual hero character,
right?
So you could get along with that. I just don't know the names. I don't watch sports anime, but there's plenty of weird ones. Like even with Baki, which is that crazy over the top fighting one, they have all these focus on individual fighters, and they have a big fight scene one episode, and then Baki is tangentially related, but then it focuses on another guy, and you're like, okay, so that's kind of related because it's this big tournament. So it really depends on the storytelling, but it's usually ensemble cast. There's really no individual protagonist that gets killed and then they get another protagonist. Nothing like that I've seen.
I think I had a realization just there that part of the reason why I like so many of the anime that I do is because it's characters that have to face lost conditions a lot. I like movies a lot that have that. Like Ghost in the Shell has a little bit of that. What I was thinking of was Cowboy Bebop is kind of like, especially near the end where things kind of start to fall apart. But it's not just a positive power crawl. And
well,
I think that,
yeah. Bebop is very unique in that all it does, it's kind of like the, how do I explain it? It's kind of like watching, who's that YouTuber who's really popular? Like pick one of those guys. That's what it's like. He's constantly doing fun stuff. Every show is a different theme, a different conflict, a different character, a different enemy. It's always different. It's always coming at you differently. So you don't know what to expect. And there's maybe 2.5 stories with Spike that are focusing on the main plot. There's maybe 1.5 of Faye. There's maybe 2 with Ed. You know, they're so disconnected that the main plot is just sort of an idea, and they want to focus on the spectacle. And there is some substance to the spectacle. There is some meaning behind Spike's background, what he wants to do, but he's sort of flitting about, trying to run away from it until it catches up with him. And that's pretty much the whole story. Your past is catching up with all you. And it happens to Faye, it happens to Ed, it happens to everyone. So its focus is entertainment. So when you're focusing on a piece of media which is designed to be fun and interesting and a little bit of depth, and you have Yoko Kanno behind the music, you're going to get a great experience. So, you know, if you have jazz music and all sorts of other fun stuff, and rock and roll and space opera sort of environments and gangsters and running away from your gangster life and some romance, like you're just doing everything. You're just having this giant all-you-could-eat buffet, but every episode is going to be a little different. It's going to be a noir, and then something's going to be a rom-com, and it's going to be a really dark, scary story about friends coming back from war. You know, all these weird things start happening. So it does a little bit of everything. And it does it so well, and that's why it's unique. So I think combine that with Yoko Kanno.
I really enjoyed Cowboy Bebop. I still prefer the sister show, Samurai Champloo. That's still one of my favorites.
Oh yeah, of course that's great. Yeah,
Yeah,
I mean,
Samurai Champloo is amazing.
That era is like really captured my my appreciation early, and I've started to go back even further. Like I think a good example of what I'm talking about is I like how the story changes from Mobile Suit Gundam to Zeta Gundam, and then
Oh, really?
back again like that. I like the arc because I like how the protagonist and the antagonist kind of swap a little bit, and that, I think in a more extreme version of that kind of thing is like a Legend of the Galactic Heroes.
Oh yeah,
I like that a lot. I like how there's, it's like sides and perspectives that you can kind of swap on. It's not too obvious that this is the bad guy and this is the good guy, even though that kind of is the case. You understand from a moral perspective, but it also allows you to get into the mindset of the characters and explore it, as opposed to it being, I think an example of an anime that I could never get into, and I just don't like, is like Naruto or whatever, because it's just so. I feel like I know how it's all gonna go, and it doesn't make like a cohesive sense to me. It's too magical and like repetitive in that sense. I don't mean to like go off on this tangent, but I just feel like the typical formula to me, when it's broken and played with, that's when anime comes alive to me. That kind of thing.
Yeah, I mean that's why I think the big appeal to anime and manga is the fact that you don't really know what you're going to get, even if it's a same story, even if it's formulaic, even if it's like something like Goblin Slayer, where it's just every story is about a guy hunting down goblins. It's always something new, creative episode or something, in most cases. And then you have like things like have you ever seen Initial D? You ever seen that?
Oh yeah.
Oh, I love them. That's one of my favorite mangas when I was growing up.
Yeah,
When I couldn't afford a car.
Then you get stuff like Initial D. You get stuff like Golgo 13, which actually goes into like a really, really detailed stuff about the facts and things and how these things work. I know Initial D. I started watching that one a long time ago, and they went to detail on how like cars work and how all this stuff functions, so that they can logically explain how the main protagonist does all the amazing things he does with the car. And it's really good. I really like it. Initial D seems like really close to what we have over here in the West, which was anyway Fast and the Furious. But like Fast and the Furious is more like a dumbed down version of Initial D.
It's the hard science fiction of cars. Yeah.
Pretty much. See, Alex Halo, thank you much too. Appreciate that. They didn't let the writer go away with it. Yeah, they didn't let the writer get away with it. with which one was it? Yu-Gi-Oh or Pokemon? Which one was it? I forgot which one it was. But yeah, it seems a lot more strict with Japanese writers, because they seem to try a lot harder. They want to do their best. But I found this other Yu-Gi-Oh animation I think we might enjoy. It goes into how extreme things are. I appreciate that, Alex Halo. Thank you very much for that. Let's see here. Let's check this out. Make sure that. And there you go. You have it.
Wow.
The amazing Yu-Gi-Oh! And how he plays all games like Yu-Gi-Oh!
It reminds me of all those people who have. There's all kinds of card games out there, but when you have like all these rule sets that work on top of each other, it's like, oh, if you do it this way, now I can apply this rule and this card in this way. You have all these other new bonuses it's like, okay, yeah, dude, we get it. You won the game. Can you shut up now? Stop talking.
Can you imagine chess was like that? Checkmate. Aha! But you activated my king-queen transformation, and I can checkmate you.
Aha! But you see, you moving your king in that direction it means if I move my fucking castle in this direction, it means you fucking got checkmated, bitch.
But this isn't how you play. I'm not done yet.
But that's funny because that show is mostly bluster like that, because you got to go with the card game, but.
Pretty much.
I wonder how.
One more thing to show you. Now that you brought that up.
Did the stream go down due to policy violations?
Oh, did it?
That's what it says.
Temporary blocked. Blocked.
Because of a YouTube video?
Yeah, for the audio, I think.
Well, we activated their trap card.
Let's see here. Are we down like all the way down? Usually
It
goes down to
says
0.
It shows the stream unavailable, stream suspended for policy violations.
Of course it is.
This happens
I've
like
seen-
every time.
I know. I've seen this happen before.
Well, I can't play any cards, and I've got 1 HP left, so I end my turn. Okay.
Let's watch this anyway.
I play a cowboy cow. I play cowboy cow's cow, and both of them gain 5 attacks with their cow companion.
Oh, it's back. All right, cool.
Okay, so good game. Then I play Carnage Cow. Carnage Cow whips all other cows on my side of the field into a frenzy, so now they're all in moo murder mode, which gives
Okay. So I guess looks like we're back. Awesome. So yeah, I was showing. I thought we were down for good, but I guess we're back. So yeah, on the note of the giant moves in Yu-Gi-Oh, like I use this card, I use this card, I use this rule for this card. I brought it up this scene, and then we'll go into the sci-fi stuff. So those of you who decided to stick with us, appreciate it, chat. Appreciate it. Let's keep going.
Well, I can't play any cards, and I've got 1 HP left, so I end my turn. Okay. I play a cowboy cow. Then I play cowboy cow's cow, and both of them gain 5 attacks for their cow companion bonus. Okay, so good game. Then I play Carnage Cow. Carnage Cow whips all other cows on my side of the field into a frenzy, so now they're all in moo murder mode, which gives them all a 10 attack bonus. Okay, yeah.
Sure.
Go ahead and attack me. Then I play Cool Down Cows. All the cows cool down from moo murder mode, and now they are all Calm Chill Cows. This combo chain feels incredibly specific. Calm Chill Cows get a 30 attack bonus and 30 defense bonus. Seems unnecessary since I have 1 HP. Now it's time for Cow Carousel. Feel like you could have done this several turns ago. All of my cows circle back into my hand, and I can play 1 cow with all of their attack and defense combined. So I will now play Groin Puncher. Just attack me! Groin Puncher summons his 4 identical brothers. Of course he does! And I also get to punch you in the groin in real life. Who designed this game? Alright, ready?
Because you brought it up the whole thing with the rules. Some of that one. Let's see. Drake the Duelist. Anybody who thinks Yu-Gi-Oh has insane, never-ending turns should take a look at Magic. And Yu-Gi-Oh, infinite combos are banned, and Magic infinite combos are win conditions.
That's why I don't play card games that aren't, like the casino ones, because there's a money win part of it, and it's not like you can get better cards than other people. It's just about the draw. It's almost as balanced as it could be.
Yeah, it's all about
which is the funny thing you can say about a game where you gamble,
right? Yeah, I think blackjack is the most likely win, the best one to play versus the house, specific type of blackjack. But it's just my experience with trading card games, because I remember growing up when they were all popular, was that nobody played Pokemon cards correctly because nobody had enough money to buy the resource cards. And so it was like everybody was playing a bootleg version of the game, and then Yu-Gi-Oh cards was whoever was able to buy or steal the best cards, which was really annoying.
I remember there was such a huge thing about fucking stealing Yu-Gi-Oh cards in primary. Why was that? Oh look, it's a shiny card. I'm gonna fucking go into some. In my school, we all had drawers that we would keep our books and stuff in, and we'd also just keep random things that we had. So people would put their cards in the drawers, and they would just fucking come back, and all their cards would be missing. Like someone had snuck somehow. The classroom hadn't been locked, so they snuck into the classroom, just took everyone's cards, and left.
Because Pokemon cards were really big when they came out. Everyone wanted the Charizard because 1, it was powerful. 2, it was worth a lot of money. Everyone always wanted that Charizard. If you got a Charizard, you were the big guy on campus.
Exactly. And everybody lied about having one too. That was the funniest thing. I was like, oh yeah, I got a first edition one, but it's at my cousin's house in Palmdale. And
my dad works for Pokemon.
Yeah, my uncle works for Nintendo. He got me one, but I can't show it to you because it's so rare.
The true thing that I used to do is my parents were really strict when I was a kid, and so they didn't let me have a Game Boy when I was a little kid when this was popular. So what I would do is I would tell people that I could get them the rare candy cheat, which I actually would do. But then that was how I would be like, you have to let me borrow it because I can't do it right now. I have to go and take it. So I'd borrow people's Game Boys and then start a new game every time, play the whole time I was at home. And then the next day I would come back with their rare candies. I was like, that's my Pokemon story.
It's awesome. Oh, it reminds me of that the whole thing. Remember that the old story about where you can get a Mew or something in the original game, and you have to do all these things, and then you had that one friend said, "Well, yeah, I totally did it, but I got my game erased or something like that."
Exactly. Yeah, it was impossible, but they would say that it was possible. I love that.
Yeah. All you gotta do is like move a truck or something like
that. I remember there was this thing you could get for your DS when you were playing Pokemon. And so I don't know where I got it from. I think it was my uncle's. Like, they gave it to me. I was like, what's this thing? And I plugged it into my DS, and it's like, it has all these cheats on it, like this cheat menu. So you select the game you're playing, and then you can say, oh, look, I'm going to add, give myself a fucking Mewtwo. I'm going to give myself this. I'll give myself that. I'll give myself a shiny Dialga. And there's like, there was someone else who had like, I didn't realize till much later on that a lot of people were just using these similar devices to just give and trade people like level 100 Dialgas.
I remember that when like it was probably better to grow up later for the technology stuff, because at a certain point I remember I was playing Pokemon Black and White. No, not Black and White, Pearl and Diamond in high school, and trading Pokemon and stuff while we were in class that nobody wanted to be in. That was hilarious.
It was some good times with those cards, but I never actually played the game. This kind of thing to collect.
Exactly, because I could never set up a game where everybody had enough cards to make it worth it. It was Magic. Everybody.
Yu-Gi-Oh was the only one I was able to play.
You could play Yu-Gi-Oh.
Sorry, go outside the deck.
Yu-Gi-Oh is pretty easy because you just need a certain amount of slots. So you can say, oh look, it's simple health and attack and defense. Okay, that works. That's easy to set up. But I was never able to do like Pokemon or any of the others.
Yeah, Pokemon was something you just more like collected rather than actually played. This at least when it was big, and when I was when I experienced that era of Pokemon, no one actually played it.
How did we get into this?
But anyway, we can get to the sci-fi stuff now. The sci-fi, one issue.
Oh, by the way, that was all because of Yu-Gi-Oh was a card game. So we were just talking about card games.
Yu-Gi-Oh was a card game.
They're all kind of the only functional one that people actually play is Magic, and I just can't get into it. I'd rather play a game that has more limited and more specific rule sets, that it's more about skill than it is about like how long it's too complicated for my brain. Maybe I'm a brainlet and I can't figure out all these infinite chain combos, but it just all the decks and memorization of it just doesn't seem to be as much worth the same amount of like value as memorizing chess strategies, which I feel like is a more universal game.
Oh yeah,
it's funny because my fucking job is designing board games, but I am the least interested in Yu-Gi-Oh and Pokemon cards out of the five of us here.
Well, board games are we can get into a time stream a whole other time.
I couldn't care less about Yu-Gi-Oh when I was growing up.
I wasn't that into it either, but I liked that people actually could play it, like we were saying earlier. Anyway, I know we're trying to get on the sci-fi thing, but if we want to talk about like a traditional game stream sometime, that might be fun.
That'd be interesting, yeah.
Oh, because we were talking about doing the Star Wars Clone Wars thing. We might as well play that game and talk about it at the same time.
That sounds
also movie night, watching Clone Wars later. Hopefully, still.
Well,
don't forget about it this time. Hopefully.
As long as I have enough energy and I'm awake. Anyway.
But have any of you heard about the writer Mags Visaggio / Madeline Visaggio?
Oh, of course. Comics.
I have not. No.
Unfortunately, if you haven't, you're in luck, because Madeline Visaggio has the distinction of being the worst writer I have ever had the displeasure of reading, and for some reason, this person was optioned by the Sci-Fi Channel. And
oh no!
They had
Is this Vagrant Queen?
Vagrant Queen. We're about to read Vagrant Queen.
Oh my god! This is a treat. I can't wait, because I've never actually read one of their books.
Yeah, because I picked this book specifically because it got turned into a show. Like, it was apparently quote unquote good enough to be turned into a show. And this is to give you an idea of Mags Visaggio. Mags Visaggio is the kind of person who would tweet out, which she actually did tweet out, I want to smash all the cis people in the face with a baseball bat. It's a very violent person, very insane.
What a nice guy.
What a charming and reasonable individual.
See, with the distinction of having being the worst writer I've ever read. Now, I have read other like NPC weirdo writers, horrible writers. This person takes the cake off all of those. It's like the queen of horrible writing. No one has ever told this person know before or something. No one's ever critiqued this person because you can't. So they came up with they have several other characters. I forgot what actually they wrote about in the actual. I think they worked for Marvel before, where they came out with Kim and Kim. They came out with several other books, I guess. But Kim and Kim was another one. And they came out with Magdalene Vizaccio came out with Vagrant Queen. She was also nominated for an award. Didn't win though, because not even her cronies could stomach giving her an award. This wouldn't work because she's such a terrible writer. So I think I forgot what award it was. Maybe it was like a Hugo or something. I forgot what it was, but she didn't win. Couldn't win because not even they would award someone with lack of skills that she possesses.
A very specific lack of skills.
Yeah, very specific lack of skills. And so they came out. She also came out with Vagrant Queen, a comic book called Vagrant Queen, and this one was optioned by the Sci-Fi Channel. And she was bragging on social media because she's an enemy of Comicsgate and all that stuff. She's a vocal enemy, like one of the people who would actively try to destroy people's lives, She's part of cancel culture. She would get into to spread like personal information, docs, all that stuff. Was one of the worst people you would ever imagine encountering. She was bragging about it all over. Hi, you got a comic book. Well, what about where's your TV show? Now, you may raise tens of thousands of dollars on your comic book as a nobody, but where's your TV show? And so it was a big victory in their eyes. Big, huge victory. Big, dumb victory. And so it was an option for the Sci-Fi Channel. Sci-Fi Channel came out with a show about it, and it was so bad. The ratings were so bad, it canceled it almost immediately. As I was telling Shiny earlier, it was kind of like how George Lucas' reaction to watching The Last Jedi, where he said, "Oh, I made a mistake. $3 billion is not nearly enough for this nonsense." Essentially, the same reaction the Sci-Fi Channel had, and they canceled that show pretty much immediately. It's like, okay, after this is all done, we're done.
You're out.
We're out. You're out. You're out of here. It's abysmally low. Like it was. I think from the very first episode, it's pretty much in cancellation territory. Nobody cared, and it's like most of these works that they do. Most of the NPC SJW works, it begins on like a medium note and then nosedives. Kind of like how Picard went. Star Trek Picard.
Oh God!
Kind of start off as lukewarm and then nosedived ever since.
I completely ignored that show and I just watched the Plinkett review and man, I can't believe just the ideas that he was putting out there. It was crazy.
It turned to be an awful show. I thought it was gonna be pretty fine. I didn't know it was gonna be good. I thought it was gonna be fine.
Look, did you see fucking Discovery? Why did you think that thing would be fine?
I honestly have not watched any of that either.
No, I was mentioning Glitch Devil.
Because it was Picard. I didn't think they would go that crazy with Picard. I didn't think they would try to destroy his legacy that
It's made by the same people.
Right, exactly. So there's no reason to think it would be good, but it's just like
I wanted to be good.
I don't have that point of reference either. So hearing it, like, it's almost like the same thing. There's like the big MacGuffin thing and all of that, but like even the ideas that I heard from Discovery weren't as egregious as the ideas that are in Picard. There's just so much stupid. We should do a whole stream about that.
But you wanted something that was well written, something that respect characters. Well, fucking too bad. Deal with it.
It's funny too because I think Sci-Fi Channel is hilarious because they've always been really low budget, kind of low quality shows in my eye. But then they made The Expanse, and I saw that they made that, and I was like, wow, that's almost like a real show, and I actually enjoyed it.
It's kind of true with Sci-Fi Channel, like a Sci-Fi Channel original movie. Oh, it's gonna be low budget.
Yep, exactly. So like, of course, Vagrant Queen is a return to that, and it's just man, why would you do that? Why would you
tier even for a sci-fi movie, which is why they canceled it immediately.
And it's weird because it's like you said, it's like, what is the reason that mags? Because I've heard everybody in the comic book community talk. Like the Comicsgate opinion that I've synthesized from hearing everybody is that here's a person that is not successful financially and is continually given offers and opportunities that should be given to more senior and more talented people. And it makes no sense why they're given those opportunities. But this is the same industry that gave Zoe Quinn a comic, so who knows?
After she drove her boyfriend to suicide.
Yeah.
Same industry. It's because you can't criticize Magdalene Vizaccio because he's trans. You can't.
Yeah,
You criticize anything she does, you're transphobic, and that gets you canceled. That gets you fired. That gets you blacklisted from the industry.
So we need to get a pro Comicsgate transgender person to fight them, and then they can duel it
pretty
out,
much
Yu-Gi-Oh style.
So we have an interesting
duel of the fates.
So we have an interesting dilemma of Sean Gordon Murphy having to tiptoe around people like Valentine Vizaccio. And Sean Gordon Murphy, by the way, is pretty much the only guy in comics who can actually sell a book. He's the only guy really selling books these days.
Yeah.
And even he has to tiptoe around Valentine Vizaccio, who is unable to sell anything. Everything she touches is a failure. So it's ridiculous how the things have gone, but it's more politics than people who can actually produce.
More politics than actually buying books.
Pretty
And
much.
I think it's all because the actual comic book industry is so small that the big media corporations and stuff don't even care about it. They're like, who cares about this small 200,000 Marvel people? They're just comic book fans. We're making $1 billion, baby.
Yeah, they really don't. It can't keep it open. Like they keep it open the same way. I assume England has a queen still. It's kind of like let's keep it. We're still here.
And do you want a fucking historical lesson?
It's stupid because what they're negating is that their content that they're making billions of dollars off is laid down by the comic book writers first, and then they get to adapt it and make $1 billion off of it. The $1 billion idea is made by like a couple people, inkers, letters, the people that are sketching and drawing these things and writing the things out. Those people invent these characters that are so visceral and loved that people are going to translate them into movies and television shows and culture, and they're not replenishing that. And that's the point I always return to and try and say as much as possible to as many people as possible. It's like, if you want more of that, you got to fund, you got to put coal in the furnace. And what they're doing is they're like, no, you can't put coal in the furnace. It's bad for the environment. And anyway, screw you. Read this stuff about how this character is better than the character that you liked.
And they're the same people who told Sean Gordon Murphy not to put up an Indiegogo, not to put up a crowdfunding project during a pandemic because it's a quote-unquote bad look. Same exact time, Todd McFarlane putting up a Kickstarter crowdfunding project for a Spawn toy raised $1 million in like a day.
Oh yeah.
Maybe you shouldn't listen to these people. Maybe the people who can't sell a comic book to save their lives aren't worth listening to when it comes to financial success.
Well, it's like if you just look at the Comicsgate thing for 5 seconds and just like go, okay, what's the range here? We know Ethan Van Sciver. He's very like boisterous. He's out there. He's prevalent. He put himself in the Star Wars conversation to build his brand on YouTube. He does streams. He tries to bring in people into his community, and he's loud basically, and he can make this amount of dollars for his project. And then you have somebody that is kind of new that's on his stream that nobody really knows about. Right, like Nasser, and he can make a couple $1,000s or whatever, but you see the range, and then it'll build up if they keep working on it. They're trying to build a new industry, and what are these people that are already in the industry doing? They're trying to ride out the like last bits of juice that's left.
Everything's fine, guys. Everything's fine in the industry. The industry's not dying at all, even though it's already dead. It's like a Weekend at Bernie's kind of situation. The industry's dead. They're just propping it up and putting sunglasses on it and stuff like that.
So it's literally Stan Lee's Twitter account.
Yeah, pretty much. It's pretty much that disturbing. As I once said to Tanya, I made a terrible mistake. George Lucas, exactly. It's exactly what they said when so the Sci-Fi Channel said when they saw the ratings for Vacant Queen. And just to give you a sum up, here's to summarize Magdalene Visaggio.
If you don't like my politics, don't buy my book.
Wait, dead on exactly. No, it's not that lady. It's a different lady, but it's pretty much the same person. Same person. Not the same person, but the same person.
It would be even more fucking amazing if it actually was that person that was making this.
That would be fantastic. That would be
There's some extra level of irony.
Yeah,
there's some. Here's Vagrant Queen. Issue 1 of Vagrant Queen, and let's just check it out. Let's keep it in mind. See if it might be good, might not be good. We'll see. We see how it goes. Maybe they messed up on the TV show. Maybe they did. Who knows?
You want to pump out more soy boys that look like Will Wheaton? This is the inevitable result of.
So
maybe they could accidentally make something good.
Let's see. Vicky, I stopped following his account after they kept using it. The Stanley, yeah, it's kind of creepy. This made Stanley into a puppet. It's disgusting. Oh, let's see here. Wizard of Board Time Lord. They also claim that IGG is a racist platform, but Mark Wade just launched one long ago. The Boogeyman, the guy who's kind of destroyed his own career by trying to destroy someone else's career.
That was really, really bad of Mark Wade. That was really, really bad luck.
Yeah, really, really bad. And he launched an Indiegogo project on a project that's already like 2 years late. It's like, he started on Kickstarter first.
That whole thing was the reason why I stopped liking him at all. I had a little, I was like, oh, comic books, it's like an industry. There's like decorum, and I'll just pick up any book that is on the shelf, and I don't care who wrote it as long as it's good or bad. Like, I don't care about their politics. But then after this whole Comicsgate thing, now I'm like, fuck you. I'm not sorry, I don't mean to cuss or whatever, but I'm not going to read this because of all the things you've been saying about the other artists and the people involved in the community, and like, I'm not going to go with those people. And then I seek out people in Comicsgate that I actually do want to read that I never read before, because now I realize they're trying to come from someplace, even though I used to like dismiss their work or something before, because it just wasn't my thing. Like, I never read Green Lantern before, but now I'm going to go read a bunch of Green Lantern.
Yeah, because you see how the people are, and you see how they didn't decide to, throw the fans under the bus for their own egos.
Yeah, exactly. I feel the way that one fandom is. It's like I'm not really into the furry group or any of these like the bronies or whatever, but it's not like I'm trying to like destroy them. You know what I mean? I'm not trying to. They are fans of things too. They deserve the same like base level of respect.
Maybe not furries. Maybe other people. Not furries. We don't condone that.
Furries get no attention. They don't deserve attention.
It's all about tolerance and everything. Look, come on, furries, really?
Yeah, I think everyone can agree that
I said the same base level of respect.
Yeah.
It starts at 0.
It starts at 0.
Okay.
Okay, let's check out Vagrant Queen. Let's see how this goes. See if it might be good, might not be good. So, Vagrant Queen by Madeline Visaggio. Did you know there's the credits are right here? Did you know that? The credits are right here. You can hardly see it. So I'll read from the cover. You can tell what kind of competency went into this.
I think the arm looks weird. The left arm.
Yeah, it does. It looks really strange. It looks like another person's arm.
And
why is it so small?
I love
the angle on it.
The featureless background is also kind of not very interesting.
It might be telling of how it's like a bland, empty, soulless background, and that's to these days that's genius. That's how things work these days.
It's somebody. You know what? I know what that cover says. You can read it. It's like, look, there's a big man standing over her, and she's about to get up and punch him. She's gonna defeat the patriarchy.
Exactly.
She's a proud, strong, independent woman.
Under normal circumstances, you would think that this the cover would be gripping and exciting to get you involved and invested in the story so you can pick it up off the shelves. But they subvert your expectations by making it bland, and therefore genius. And because it subverts your expectations, it's good, and you're going to be guaranteed to buy the comic because it subverts your expectations in that manner. Please disregard the fact that they color everything the same color almost. This is almost exactly the same colors.
Mm-hmm. The only thing that sticks out is her orange vest, which is bland as well.
It could be part of a prison jumpsuit attire. We're not like there's no context. We're like, what is going on here? There's nothing.
Exactly. I mean, it could just the how bland and unnoticeable it is. It's genius, I think. Right. That's how it works. The worse it is, the better it is.
Yeah, the most character I have from all of this is the silhouette of the man with his ears sticking out. Does he have a certain background from? Is he an alien? Is he Eastern European? Does he shave his head? Is it like that? Gives me more of a story than someone in a pose on a desert. I think she might be angry. Maybe she fell over. I don't know. Does she need help? I don't know what's going on here.
I guess we'll find out. I'll find out.
I think we're going to need help after our brains just melt.
Vagrant Queen.
Remember, this is science fiction.
This is science fiction written by Magdalene Visaggio. Magdalene Visaggio, the best writer, probably in all of Marvel.
I got my sci-fi.
And if you don't like her book, don't buy it.
If you don't like her politics, don't buy her book.
Oh yeah, if you don't like her politics, sorry.
if you don't approve of smashing people in the face with baseball bats because they're straight, then don't buy her book.
Can you imagine if like Elon Musk said something like that? Like, are you crazy?
If you don't like Tesla,
If you don't like my politics, don't buy my Tesla. Like, why would you ever do that? Would you ever say something like that?
He did say something like, I think the Tesla stock price should be lower. That was pretty funny.
It plummeted?
Well, it should be. Yeah, it really should actually.
Yeah, but that's why it's funny. It's like if he said don't buy my product if you don't like my politics, I'd be like, what are your politics?
He's too busy launching rockets. What the hell does he care?
Yeah, he's not really political. He's just
busy being awesome.
His politics are baiting people on Twitter by saying I took the red pill or something like that.
Yeah. So one of the other baits was that you know who owns the media, and then they're like, "Who owns the media, Musk? Tell us who you think owns the media."
I do.
And then he just left. He never answered.
Yeah, he never answered. He's just he's like, how do I? He's trying to copy Trump with his like elliptical things, where he like leads into something and then just like walks away from it, and then everybody else just speculates afterwards.
You know what they want him to say? You know what they want him to say?
Yeah,
he's not gonna say
aliens.
Yeah, aliens. All aliens own the media, obviously. Is there overrepresentation of aliens in the media?
It's all run by an IBM supercomputer somewhere in Arizona.
So our first image of Vagrant Queen is this spaceship-looking thing, and then of course they have music. I say it's if we had to like something to drink, I would just make a game where we drink every time they're quirky.
I have to say that is the most uninspired spaceship I've ever seen. What
exactly
is this
right? Exactly. I just about to say.
Okay, so this looks kind of like one of the very first like basic concept drawings you'd actually do, but then this is like the drawing which should eventually be developed into something which is completely different. Because okay, you have something that you start of an interesting shape and outline, but it's just been like it's the first concept on the floor, and they just went with it.
That's not even a concept. That's just like a sketch from far away. It's like, hey, maybe this is if you were looking down the nose of a spaceship. Here's some shapes. You're like, okay.
It's like, okay, here's a fucking cheese wedge. Here's some glowy balls, and there's going to be these things that just kind of protrude out from it.
It's literature devil. You know what it is? It's a Rorschach ship. It's like whatever you see in it. That's why it's genius. Because it's
hey, at least I would take this over the fucking Star Wars Dreadnought Last Jedi pizza slice.
Oh, that was terrible. I agree with that. That ship to me, what I read is it looks like the front of a ship, and then I don't know. I can't. That's the problem. It's
in
just
comparison to
Admiral Hux, order the pizza.
In comparison to the whatever the other one was, because it's based off a type of ship, as far as I can remember. It's the Dreadnought, like it's a Mandator 4 or whatever it is the classification of the ship that the Dreadnought is, and you look at the Mandator 2, which was original trilogy, and Mandator 2 was essentially a bigger, more complicated looking Star Destroyer, and you look at it, and then you look at the flat, boring pizza slice, and you go, "The fuck happened?"
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, we were streamlining, and by streamlining you mean you took out 50% of the ship.
Detail is not. Don't worry about details. Movies are not about the details.
Yeah,
Can show you the power of our fucking terrible writing. We ruined this ship design.
Canon impresses the artist, don't you know? So this is the
And
first
we
page.
fixed it with only pizza slices.
This is the first page of Vagrant Queen. Just keep that in mind. So we open up with a bland-looking ship against empty space.
Mm-hmm.
And we have
That's not even good space.
with someone
It's not
singing a
good
song
space.
or something. Like there's not important dialogue. This is throwaway dialogue. It's not telling us anything. This is someone singing a song, or the radio is on or something.
Waste of a pen.
Oh, I've got a girl in Cell Mark 3. I got her and she's got me. It's like I think she's trying to tell us that she's lesbian or something. I don't know. Which it's probably a good bet though. She's the finest layer I've found.
And then she needs that in between, right on the last part. That I've found for it to actually be a
that I
song.
found.
She's missing
It sounds weird. It sounds really
yeah.
weird. So this tells us nothing. It does absolutely nothing because we don't know if it's a character singing it. We don't know if it's a radio or whatever. If it's a character singing it, that might give us a little bit of something. But we don't know. It's just random words in space.
What is space?
And then we get it's still the same page. We get assaulted with even more bland-looking ships.
They're the same ship.
The same ships.
What is? Oh my god! Oh,
It's literally just
And then,
hey,
hey,
it's just it's a fucking brick in space.
Look at
What
that
is
shading. Look at the shading is just like a little bit of that like texture effect on it. There's no,
dots,
it's
yeah.
so bad.
that's it.
At least the
Oh,
triangle.
The color is just gray. It's a
They're
gray.
not even uniform. They're not even. Look, some of them are the same fucking drawing, just rotated a little bit. And then oh, they put a couple of different lines on it. Oh my! What is this?
This is triggering, Shiny.
It kind of looks like one of the
it's
Warhammer.
Oh god, it's bisexual space.
It's bisexual lighting in space.
In space. That's great. Great observation. What were you saying, voice?
They kind of look like the Warhammer 40k, but with far less detail.
Like the front of the. He's saying the front of the Space Marines ships has this like
Yeah.
wedge look to it. I agree.
okay.
I see that, but it's like if it was just that wedge.
Yeah, I was thinking of the nacelles from Excalibur in Crusade, that Babylon 5 spin-off.
Yeah, well, the ship I'm thinking of is like it has that shape, but if you can imagine like the superstructure part on a Star Destroyer, it's all that texturing down the top and the front and the sides and all that because complicated drawing.
I just if I'm being objective, it's just the scaling is bad, the detail is bad because it's just not giving you geometry. It's what I'm looking at right now is just it looks like a mess of polygons, to be honest.
The geometry is just so uninteresting.
Why is
It's
that one just-
uninspired as well. They've just got this fucking box square in space with windows on it. There's just fucking cheese slices, cheese wedges, with a couple of things just attached to them.
What that reminds me of Winnebago
spaceship.
in Spaceballs.
Yeah,
Winnebago. Is it the Winnebago in space with like fins or something?
Before my F&P fell under because of the coronavirus, I spent so fucking long designing a ship I was happy with, and I played around with so many shapes and different things I could do, and to the point where like my original design was so different than the final design, and unfortunately I never finished the final design because I ended up getting hooked into something else that Literary Devil ended up getting me doing for my F&P because of the things, but. Yeah, and I spent so much time on that, and then there's this person who just put, oh look, a wedge, oh look, little cylinders, oh look, some fins, done.
I wonder if the artist was just excited to get done with the project.
I'm pretty sure it was. It's just something I need to pay rent. I'll just
Yeah.
do a Magnifying Versace comic. Just so I can just bite my tongue and just get through this. And these people are always obsessed with food. If you read these comic books, they're always obsessed with food. Like the heroes, to such an extent, the heroes kind of like defeat villains off screen so they can get back to taking selfies and ordering lattes and stuff. So yeah, there's a reason why the American comic book industry is failing. Okay.
Smud and I are just like, what? I don't understand this. It's what, you're saying that that this is like a trope in these modern comics.
They love food. They love selfies because it's right what you know. And these people they never really encountered anything. They never really lived any sort of life. So all they really know how to write is like ordering food and complaining. That's about it. So that's all they have in the comic books. So they never encountered like real obstacles. Just okay. The biggest obstacles in their life has been okay. What am I going to order for dinner? Like what person am I going to?
That's a very difficult decision.
Well, when you're talking about cultural elements like food or talking or singing or music, like you can tell a great world building story with people who know stuff in an alien environment. That's a great way of doing it. But you actually have to know what you're talking about. You have to actually know about food and music and dance and whatever. So ordering something is kind of like, oh, I'm going to go call up some dancers. It's like, what do you mean dancers? Who? What do they do? Like, you can't just order stuff and have it teleport onto you. You want like, oh, I'm going to cook it. I'm going to take it apart. I'm going to describe it. I'm going to show you the colors and the smells. You want details.
Yeah, 'cause I think that's why that sort of stuff works in anime. Because if you read some of these people, you can kind of tell they really like anime. They really watch a lot of anime. They really like it, but they don't know how to use those same tropes so they bring it back to their writing. So while in anime, when they focus on food, they'll say, okay, it was cooked in this way, it was made this way, and they make it really good. And they give you details about it. And when they put it in here, it's just they just order pizza. It's just a picture of them ordering pizza, eating pizza, and talking about, I don't know, getting misgendered at the fertility clinic, which is an actual thing they did in the background.
Oh boy!
And they have an actual cover where a bunch of heroes are gathered at a table eating pizza. That's a cover. No punching bad guys. No getting involved with the crime or the event of that comic book. It's a bunch of heroes sitting around a table eating pizza. Like remember that ending of Avengers where they go to shawarmas? That's basically a cover they used.
Well, if they were eating steak, then I'm sure Ledger Devil would be a big fan.
Oh, that'd be fine then. That'd be fine.
I was so happy that you brought up that scene because that's what I was going to say earlier. That it was like just an extended version of that scene the whole way through.
Pretty much. That's what it seems like. Midnight Edge After Dark. Good morning, Ledger Devil and crew. Good morning, Midnight Edge After Dark. Welcome. Let's see here. Okay, got Matthew J. Nimnall. Thank you much for 5. If I may, a good ship from my series. Image, I guess, is a link. Okay. This was out of pocket. If I had a budget, come on, VQ, that's bad. Well, check out that link. Check out that link, see where it goes. And yeah, just check out the stuff. It sounds like amazing. I always like when I see people design things on their own. Like Shad Diversity showed us something he made. That was really interesting. He made his own ship. Let's see here. Alex Halo, thank you much too. Appreciate that. They are more obsessed with food than Saber and Goku. Yeah, pretty much. They are obsessed with food. Everything they do is food. It's always about food. It always comes down to food. It's and then you see someone like Gail Simone who weighs like more than she should, and he always talks about food. You're like, okay, well, I mean, come on. There's other things in life besides food, Gail Simone.
I was surprised that you thought Mags is the worst because I was wondering what your opinion on Gail was. I was like, okay, cool.
Gail can at least put a story together that's at least somewhat tolerable. Max Masaccio is the worst person. She's the worst writer still. Like
that's good to know because I haven't read really either of them, so I don't, I'm not aware. I just watch Zach, your boy.
Well, if you have a gun to your head and you had to choose between Madeline Masaccio and Gail Simone, go with Gail Simone.
That was the answer I was looking for right there.
Actually, she wrote Secret Six, and I actually kind of like Secret Six. It's okay. Yeah, I'm not sure she was the one who wrote all of it because it gets kind of brutal. And I was like, is this really something that Gail Simone wrote?
Interesting.
Out of curiosity, interested in seeing some of the things that I've designed. I can share screens, I think.
Yeah, you can. You can share a screen. I can put it up there if you want to.
Okay.
Let's make sure, because this happened before in another stream before that I've seen. Let's make sure to close all your porn tabs first.
That happened to Pokemon the other day.
Yeah, I've seen that happen on other streams. They put up their comic book. Hey, I want to show my comic book. I'll share my screen. Here's my comic book campaigns. Like, guy, you got like 4 porn tabs open. You want to close those before you use YouTube? Right, check this out.
Well, so this is just random sketches I did of like to the part. So I started just playing around with shapes and ideas, doing all these different things. This is my production reflection. We have to do this for like college, and like so I was taking different inspirations and shapes.
Oh, I like that one.
What this?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like trying to take the idea from the wedge shape from Quinton, but I couldn't make it work. The shape itself just didn't seem to work in 3D. And designing a hangar, designing fighters, I like this idea, but I just couldn't do the wings right because I was trying to go for something that was similar to the Mass Effect fighter, but it just didn't want to work with me.
That's really cool.
Again, just playing with random sketches. And then I started designing the antagonist fighter, doing all these details.
What were you doing again? Sorry?
This is kind of just a science fiction
that's cool.
thing I was doing for my final major project.
But what were you studying?
Oh, I'm studying creative media, which is just a stepping stone, which I'm taking to visual effects.
Sweet.
And this is over now, so...
Chad is saying we're showing your email off to everybody.
Oh, fuck. Wait, oh god, there.
Nice catch, Chad. I wish that was good.
Groupers@gmail.com, everyone.
Well, I don't care. Send me an email if you really want to. I think you can probably find it on my channel. But yeah, the final design, or at least somewhat of the final design, if I just find it again.
It's here. So, That would look pretty cool, though. But here we go back to the Vagrant Queen. We got the bland ships in space, and they're saying, "Hey, I guess they're singing a song because I guess they're talking now." They're saying, "Hey, knock it off. This is an open channel. We're supposed to be on high alert, looking for the white ship. Okay, they gotta find that white ship, chat. Gotta find that white ship." Okay, so, white ship, my ass. That's another thing. They always like to cuss. It's
Wow, look at those far out details of the ships.
Look how interesting this is.
What the fuck? There's literal triangles and rectangles. What is this?
The guy was just trying.
What's a really far distance?
I think the artist is trying to get done with this.
I know that like artists can be really fucking lazy when it comes to comics because again, there's been a lot of things with like Star Wars comics with just stealing artwork and posting it in there. But dear God, that is just horrific.
That one's just a big rectangle.
It's just a square. There's just a square. Oh no, the space squares are coming to attack. Everything was fine before the space squares attacked.
I like how
but less interesting.
The speech bubbles are not like they look like they could be told one person's point of view. There's nothing distinguishing the two different voices.
Like normally you do like one in italics.
Are there even supposed to be different voices?
Yeah, that's the thing. I don't
There's
know.
supposed to be different voices. Yeah, I said, "Watch it, my ass." Excuse me, Admiral Cavis is online, right? On this line, right? I'm trying to entertain. Yeah, there's probably different people. There's really different people. Like one guy was singing in the beginning. I guess this person.
Don't you normally like make them different colors in text boxes? Or...
They usually do. You have to differentiate between different people. They didn't do that here. So they have this one guy singing, and then they had another guy that's saying, "Hey, knock it off. This is a different person." And then they go white. They're looking for some white ship, which I assume is a bad guy because it's white. And it says, "I'm trying to entertain everyone on this kind of waste of a patrol. Wait, anyone else picking this up? They've got ink." And then it cuts off, I guess. And then we
something interesting happened.
Yeah, something interesting happened by the end of it. So something explodes.
Wow,
that's the first page. So we get. Is this really bland though? I don't know who these people are. I don't care. I'm probably. Yeah. By the time we finish this comic book, I'm probably going to be happy they're dead. You know, it's. We don't really. It doesn't really tell us much. So yeah, random beam comes out, destroys the ship, and then I guess here's the white ship. Of course, it's the bad guy. It's the one destroying all the other bland ships.
Oh my gosh! Look at how detailed that is.
Why have they spent more time on that than they have the other ships?
But even so, like, look at how bad those engines look, and it's just like the geometry and the lines.
It's like those portable vacuums, those little hand vacuums. That's kind of what it looks like from the front.
It looks like
is that hand drawn?
Kind of shape.
Do you see like the circle in the middle of it of the white ship that's like kind of on the edge of the middle vish or whatever that sound is? Right to the right of that, there's this circle, and that's breaking the entire geometry of everything.
But what's the scale of these things? Because one of the things behind them, oh my god, the one in the right, oh god, that's just.
Here's a ship right here. Here's a ship over here. So
they've taken that one and they've rotated it and they put it there. And, oh my god, they've done the exact same thing for the one that's just in front of. They've just copied the same picture over and over again, and you can see it in the foreground as well.
Dude, it's for a show. Remember,
bad.
This was option. This got made into a TV show.
Like, I know. I keep thinking that in my head. Every point you're making, I'm just like, oh, and then they got optioned. I'm like, wow.
Compare this to the manga and anime world, where you have to have a really darn good manga, and it's either it has a long run and everyone loves it, or the first few, like even the first manga is so good that people pick it up. They realize how talented everyone is. This is the exact opposite. There's nothing here. Did someone even draw this with a pencil?
I think it's like a 3D model or something. I don't know.
Not even. Maybe they were in like MS Paint and they just started drawing some lines.
If this was a 3D model, like at least you'd have some kind of perspective.
Right.
Like it wouldn't be the same drawing over and over again. And what the hell is going with the scale? Because the ships in front of it are like really small, but then the exact same ship behind it is fucking huge.
Speaking of that, look at the booms and the thwooms, the like action dialogue. The scale for that, it makes it seem like they're really small booms. As compared to the ship, it's like boom, boom. It's not like a big one.
Yeah, you should do like you could easily just do a close up, and that makes this the scale look so much big. Al, even if you wanted to, you could use a fucking copy and paste of that same ship and just copy and paste the explosion on there and just make it closer.
So everyone's making this face right now.
Oh man, that is terrible. How is that? How is that a comic book?
Everyone's making this face right now.
Yellow.
It's
unwell.
Look at that nose. Look at the nose.
It's like his chin is trying to escape or something.
Like not
left
symmetrical.
nostril just disappeared.
So I guess there's some space truckers were on I got the CBS radio. Some guy was singing, and then some white ship comes in to start destroying everything for some reason. Why? I don't know.
Is that what happened? Because I didn't know. I couldn't tell.
That's apparently what's going on. It's like we got to search for that white ship. Then suddenly, white ship comes in, starts destroying everything for some reason. We don't know why. It just is an evil white ship. I guess we're supposed to assume it's white. It's white, therefore it's bad. That's all we need to know. Like the Death Star plans from the Star Wars. At least we knew why the Empire was chasing after Leia's ship. Here, I guess the instead of Death Star plans, it's just white. So it's just evil, right? I guess.
I can feel the brain cells leaving my body.
I'm surprised with the shit you have to deal with. They're still even there.
It's this though. This is the perfect storm for me because I love comic books, but I don't read very many of them, so I don't know what the state of the industry is. And this is just blowing my mind right now.
This is more painful for me than anything.
Oh, if you're looking in the chat, Alex, hello, this is killing me. And there's that emoji, that custom emoji I have, where it's like, if I lose internet connection, that's the emoji that you use. F for LD.
Press F in chat for comic books, everyone.
Pour one out for comic books. It's American comic books anyway. French comic books are doing great.
Yeah, French comic books. Well,
manga's doing fantastic. But these weirdos, they're killing the comic book industry in America.
Like, you say F for comic books, they're already dead, so
I
it's
know.
not really much of a point at this point.
To be honest, they died for me when the Captain America death arc in 2008. That was kind of when I stopped. They just started circling the drain for me.
Kind of Weekend at Bernie sort of thing now for the American comic book industry. So let's go to page 3. And finally, we get characters. What is going on now? What is
You usually get something good on page 3s.
Let's see here. So,
no gets that. No, okay.
It's exactly what I just asked. What is that? Evade. So they're talking about the ship.
But why is everyone pressing F now? What happens?
Comic industry.
Every time I see F, I just think that the stream's just gone down.
So do I. That's why I have that emoji, so they can tell me, okay, the stream is down.
Yelling, I can't. Our engines aren't responding, but it looks pretty chill right now. It looks like he's contemplating a dump he took in the.
I can hear he's shouting. He's shouting, but his face is.
That was good.
But he looks like it's a calm shout.
God, our engines are not responding.
Everybody just looks like they're hanging out. Number one, like it's just a normal day, and like it's like almost lunchtime. And then this guy controlling the ship looks like he's just upset that he has to listen to this person as his commanding officer.
Why is Corporate Commander in the background?
I don't know, but it looks like they're hanging out. Like there's Corporate Commander right there. This looks like she just they just got done exchanging witty banter or something.
I thought it was Doomcock. I'm gonna be honest.
You've then got fucking wannabe Deathstroke looking motherfucker.
Doomcock wouldn't be caught dead in this. I'm only in good comics.
She got that smirk going on, like they just got done exchanging like some banter, like they have to have a live audience laugh at what they just said or something.
I'm confused about what's happening. What's that guy doing by himself at the back? So these two people on the other side, the two people chatting. Okay, I see what they're doing. They're chatting. It's a bit weird in an emergency situation, but still, they're hanging out. They're doing.
let's have a chat in an emergency situation.
The other guy behind the chat.
It's an emergency situation. Like he says, our engines aren't responding. You would think they'd be running around or trying to do something, but they're just standing around having idle conversations.
That guy's just looking at a fucking. What is that? Just looking at a wall. He's just looking at a wall, really perplexed. Like, huh. Emergency, huh?
Is it window or modern art? I can't really tell.
He's guarding a bridge.
I think it's probably supposed to be some kind of like monitor of some kind, but it doesn't look like it because all it is fucking scan lines.
It's like a bunch of like fluorescent lighting. I don't know.
Oh no.
And then it goes from her smirking like this, like this got done having some gut busting dialogue from off a sitcom, to her making this face. She started to melt, and then she started turning into some sort of zombie thing. What's happening to us? And then they all turn to zombies, and then I guess they're dead in space.
That's so bad. Like, how do you? So literature devil, you know how comic books are like written in a specific way, right? Like there's the Marvel way, and then there's like the other way, like that kind of thing. It's like, what do you think this paper looks like? Suddenly she in panel 1, we have a small panel, and she's clutching her face, and then the next panel her flesh has become zombified. Like that transition, it's the bare minimum. It's not even enough. It's like, what caused that?
We go from space battle to people turning into zombies for some reason.
Also, the ship design has changed again. Look at it.
We have no context. There's no context being given. No stakes being provided. It's just things happening, and it's like the Phantom Menace, where things are starting to happen. We don't have no stakes.
Also,
we have no grasp on what's happening.
The transformation is so fucking fast because in a split second, her hair suddenly disappears, her skin just rots.
Yeah, it's from 1 second to the next. Is boom. It's all gone.
And the other guy is just so retarded.
It's like you get this in manga. You get this manga and anime where they start in medias res, where they begin with in that formula, it's based on Kisho Tenketsu, which is supposed to be the introduction first. So the introduction is supposed to be introducing like the main character or the main situation, and then so it's supposed to be kind of like the Indiana Jones setup, where the opening is at best not really connected to anything at all, to the main story, and at worst maybe like remotely connected to it, like it's going to come back later on, and that's it. So the introduction is supposed to give us like the introduction to the main character, like a Goku or the Yusuke Urameshi or something, and then part 2 is really the development where we explain what we just saw. So for example, what were you talking about? Like, for example, we introduce Goku and Bulma in Dragon Ball, and we get to see them like interact first, where she tries to shoot him and stuff, and then we get to learn why she's on a journey. Like she wants to look for Dragon Ball, she wants to wish for a boyfriend or whatever, and then we get the twist, and then we get the conclusion, and then that's how it goes. So this is what I mean by them. It's looking like they take a heavy inspiration from manga and anime, but not really know how to implement it. Like, okay, this is cool. They have a really big actiony opening. It's not the action that they're actually showcasing, it's the introduction of the character they're showcasing. Because if you open up with action, I don't care. I don't have the context needed or required to actually care about the action.
Revenge of the Sith.
Yeah, Revenge of the Sith, exactly. So we get a big space battle. I don't care what's the white ship. What are these other ships doing? I don't know. I don't care.
One of the things I would say is the reason why the Clone Wars has such great action is because you have that investment, because you've been watching this entire show and you know these characters. So that's why a lot of the great action in that show works. But if you just removed like everything else from that show and you just had the action and you just tried to show the best parts, it would be next to fucking useless.
Yeah, because at least you get context in that show. You get context. You know what the stakes are. You know what the motivations are. You know what person is fighting for what. Here, you have no idea. Are these space truckers? I thought they sound like space truckers. Are they like soldiers of some kind? And what's the white ship about? So in the beginning of a Star Wars: A New Hope, you know that the ship, the big giant ship, belongs to the Empire. You know they're after Princess Leia, which is in the smaller ship. You know they're after her because of the Death Star plans. You know they're after the Death Star plans because if they don't have the Death Star plans, they'll retrieve them. The rebellion will be able to find out some sort of secret about the Death Star and destroy their gigantic super weapon. Very easy to grasp, very easy to understand. Tyrannical Empire wants to save their super weapon so they can continue being tyrannical. What's the context here? I don't know. Just a bunch of space trucker-looking people are afraid of a ship called the White Ship, and they're turning into zombies now. Why? Who? When? Explain something.
And this got greenlit for a TV show.
The Vagrant Queen was a show on the Sci-Fi Channel.
If this be the bar, please give me a fucking TV show.
Someone read this comic and said, "Yep, this will make a great show."
Or maybe they didn't read it.
Yeah, that's probably the.
They didn't read it till afterwards.
Someone's assistant read this and then said, "I think that we might be able to make this for cheap."
Really, really cheap.
So cheap, it's going to be next to fucking nothing.
Yeah, and it was next to nothing.
So here's the white ship again. It's like a bland different space.
A giant wedge.
White people.
I think that's the basic shapes in space. That's what this is. They didn't bother doing anything.
At least with Star Wars, like obviously Star Wars, the Star Destroyer, it's a very it starts off with a very simple shape, but then it builds upon those very simple shapes. So even things like in the Phantom Menace, when they have the Lucre Hulks, the big donuts, they actually the donut is actually like a very simple shape. Okay, you've got a sphere in the middle, you've got a donut, you cut out the middle of the donut, and you've got yourself a Lucre Hulk. But then they actually add details, and they actually use interesting silhouettes for their designs.
Yes, and the details that are built on top of it give it the scale and give it the believability. But the big basic structures give it its iconic imagery. This is just basic structures.
Yeah, it is at step one, and then kind of left it at that. It's putting windows on its stuff.
Well, even then, I wouldn't even say this is an interesting silhouette. I don't. It's not even that. Again, why does the shape of the ship keep changing? For fuck's sake, it just changes. Who knows why? Okay, it had a fin. Now the fin's missing. Now it has these engines on the side before they were on the bottom. Look,
it's very weird.
You have the two ships. So there's the one that they've reused on the side there. You can see the change in the ship. So they've got like the one that's on the right and one that's on the left. And it's like, why does the ship just change? Why does it change? It doesn't need to change.
Oh, this is terrible. It's like someone's cousin or something. Like they got the intern or something.
Yeah, that's legitimately what it feels like. It doesn't feel like somebody that like has a lot of experience with it.
And here's the thing: it'd be so easy to just make this a little bit better by doing it, even something as simple as a Star Wars little introductory or as a Star Trek info dump, where someone says the Federation is searching for something called the White Ship that is being piloted by criminals or something. So there's some basic setup. So we don't have a basic setup. Just a basic setup like that would allow us to at least grasp the action that follows. We don't get any of that. Just mindless action we don't have any context for.
Put some kind of symbol on their ship, and that could give some context for who these people might be. So if it's a more authoritative logo or symbol, then that means it's probably some kind of evil empire. If it's some kind of skull and crossbones, then that obviously indicates that these are some kind of pirates. I don't think these would be pirates because the ship is, fucking white as shit. Like pirates, they don't really have nice clean white ships.
Yeah, who's fighting who over what?
Over what? Like we don't know anything about this stuff. It's just action. I see this happen a lot in like action movies and stuff where they think action is what draws people in. It's not. It's the stakes and everything. It's a drama. It's a thing that connects the action. So if you have two guys punching each other, it might be fun to watch, but you're not really invested in it. It's like, okay, they're punching each other. I got better things to do now.
Yeah, but
each other. Why?
Is it cool though?
Yeah, it has to be.
How did it make you feel?
Feels cool.
So they could have at the very least. I would have even been satisfied with a Jolly Roger on these other ships or something. I mean, the white ship.
They're the ones, the pirate icon on their ship.
By the way, what is a vagrant queen? What does that mean?
I have no idea. I think they got like a random name generator or something.
I know what a vagrant is, but
I know why they use the word queen. I mean, queen slay, yes, queen, that sort of stuff. That's right. So of course they would use the word queen. They have to. Let's see here. Critical imagination. Thank you much for the 5. Appreciate that. You don't need the view blip. The artist already struggles with space appliances.
Yeah, exactly. That's a very good point. Well done.
Space appliances. Very good. Very good. And see, Ben Z. White ship, more like giant washing machine. Those dang rogue washing machines are blight. Yeah, it looks like a washing machine. It looks like a dryer or something, or shaver. It looks like
It's the robot uprising.
I need to get this done. I need to get this, whatever's in the room, that's the ship now.
It's the Republic of Maytag and General George Washing Machine. They're attacking us on full cycle.
They're crossing the space Delaware. And so they go to this guy. He's wearing an armband. I guess he's a Nazi or something because what's all they like to write. They like to write about.
Right, of course.
I'm open to suggestions. He goes, whatever the white ship is, it took out our entire armada. I've never seen a weapon like it before. He's right. It's like it's aging our ships 1,000 years in an instant. God knows what happens to their crews. We have to stop it, whatever the cost.
It's so stupid because how do they know any of that? What do you mean aging? Is that what that is?
Yeah. How do they know that the ship is aging? What? Because metal. The thing about metal is it doesn't age. I mean, you could say it rusts, but there's no water in space.
Yeah, but why would metal age in? Yeah, exactly. Over time, I believe that. And I'm going entirely off memory here. I believe that the vacuum of space does rip particles of the surface material of a spaceship off, but it's very, very slow. So it takes molecules of like iron and what have you out of the surface layer of space shuttle. Which is why, like the likes of Chris Hadfield comment on how they do a spacewalk, they come back in, take their helmet off. It's got a kind of like barbecue. There's like a weird barbecue-y smell.
Interesting. Yeah, because there's the lack of atmosphere probably has some very interesting temperature effects and interactions. Because
that note, why does it feel to me like this was something that they just thought up on the spot? Like some random ship is impossible, like some ghost ship or something like that. It's unsolvable. Not even from what seems to be from an enemy invasion force or something. It's just a ship out there that they're trying to capture or destroy.
Well, this reminds me of The Expanse a lot because there's that the ship that has the proto molecule or whatever involved. The ship that's sent. Sorry, I'm saying this incorrectly. There are these stealth ships that are tech that like only one faction is supposed to have, but it's better than either faction, and they're trying to set up a false flag. Basically, it blows up the Canterbury. And
what was that?
People think that Mars did it.
Like the support just kind of disappeared.
Oh, the worst thing about the Expanse is the introduction of this thing called the proto-molecule, which basically derails everything. It's all this intrigue. It's all about the different factions, and then suddenly this thing it's all about this special thing that does all this magical bullshit. It's my least favorite part of it.
Didn't they do a plot like this in the Clone Wars as well? They had the big scary ship that in like season 1 had a super weapon.
Oh, the Malevolence.
Yes, that's it. It's like there's a big unknown ship and it has some kind of super weapon and it's out there somewhere, but we can never find it, kind of thing.
Yes, that is exactly what it is. It's that's got to be a trope. Like the ultra mega ship.
They have some like nice moments in that arc still, like where Plo Koon, the clones say, we're just clones, sir. We're meant to be expendable, and Plo says, "Not to me."
Chat just said, did that? What is it? Did they just make a Hold'em? Did a character really just suggest the Hold'em maneuver?
Yeah, because he says that.
What did they say?
Die gloriously in an impossible battle. Even if we rammed it, we're too small to make you more than a dent. No. Yeah,
unbelievable. Unbelievable. But this ship is too good for the Hold'em maneuver. So Ryan Johnson, Mags is a better writer than you now.
This is probably
the Worf maneuver.
More of a war.
Ramming speed. Hell yeah.
Worf does it's cool. He's
like Worf doesn't even
cool,
care. Make a dent. He's like, we're gonna fucking do this.
We're not cool enough to ram through this ship. But Worf is.
Like, why would you jump just straight to ramming?
I know, right?
Hey, first jump to.
I didn't say ram. She said we need to do something about this. Like, he's like, remember? She says he's right. It's like it's aging our ships in an instant. God knows what happened to the crews, and we have to stop it, whatever the cost. And he's like, and he says, What, by ramming it? No, I didn't say that.
No,
we
Are
run.
there any other options?
Let's see, Betsy says, OMFG, the uniforms are black. The white ship will clean them. Dun, dun, dun. Dr. Alpha. I have a Dr. Alpha emoji, by the way.
It's kind of funny how like it was done, like the aging thing was kind of a plot in Orville. Like they're taking the piss out of it, and they're trying to start off with like the parody, haha, funny things, and they had like the aging by Vegeta.
I think it's been done multiple times in different directions in Star Trek too. I'm not sure if the Orville episode was a basis on that. I didn't mean to interrupt you. Sorry.
That's fine.
We run.
You were saying?
And it won't.
It's just that, like, they do it in parodies and it's better.
Oh yeah,
yeah, they do. Then the Orville started off as a parody, and then in that kind of it said
it gets serious.
It gets serious. It becomes better Star Trek than Star Trek did because they saw how Star Trek was being run. It's like, whoa, I can't really parody that anymore. It's kind of like the problem the Onion is having trying to parody today's like issues.
The problem is it's impossible. You can't parody what's already too extreme to be parodied.
That's
like I remember there was. It was ages ago. It was a Sagan of Cad video, and he was taking the piss because it was like, "Oh, feminist takes a day off." Onion article, and then it's like there's actually a real article that was done by the Mary Sue about taking a day off from feminism. Like, so, oh, we took a day off from being triggered for like a day, and we actually sat down and watched something.
I remember one of the comments that he was making is like, if that's how your worldview works, maybe it's probably a bad thing. Like, if your worldview consists of finding bad things all the time, and that's it.
Switch off your morals for a second.
Yeah. Was that it? That was it. Switch off your morals for a second. Like
what morals?
It should be the other way around, right? It should just be like
turn on your morals.
Well, unfortunately, we're getting to like the 3-hour mark, and we have other stuff to do today. I know everyone has different things to do today, so I'll go ahead and close out the stream here for today.
Mm-hmm.
If you want to join me tomorrow, we can continue some other stuff.
Yeah, sure.
That'll be no problem. Be fantastic if you want to join me for tomorrow. But I'll go ahead and close out the stream here. A lot of fun today. A lot of anime stuff. We have a lot of Yu-Gi-Oh. I'm not sure if I can be. I'm not even sure if I'm able to keep the stream up. I think YouTube might just block it worldwide because one time I showed Stanley talking for about 10 seconds in a video in a stream once, like a 4-hour stream, and it was blocked worldwide.
Wow.
For 10 seconds. So I don't know what's going to happen with this one. But we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens, chat. But thank you everyone in the chat for joining us. As always, you have been the best chat ever. Thank you, Shiny. Thank you, Voice in the Radio. Thank you, Glib, for joining me. Thank you, Smudboy, even though he had to leave early, unfortunately. But I hope you all have a wonderful rest of your day. And I will, of course, see you all